Welcome to Sunday Night with Old Time Radio. Thanks for joining us. If you're new to us, we hope that you'll become a regular listener. We have some great programming from the golden age of radio, and some modern productions also. Tonight we begin with Jerry at Fair Oaks. We have Moon Over Africa. Comedy with Our Miss Brooks. We have A Night to Remember. This is from Plum House. Then we have an episode from Encore Theater entitled Disputed Passage. We move then to the Black Museum and then close with Lights Out. Let's get started.
Jerry at Fair Oaks.
Your name is on the list to try out for the mounted drill team. Is that right, Jerry?
Yes, sir.
Right on the top, too.
I suppose you're glad about that, aren't you, Jerry?
Yes, sir, I sure am. Hope I make it, too.
You know about the Hunter Craig trophy?
Yes, sir. If we win it from Edson in this next contest, it becomes a property of Farrell's.
That's right. And we want that trophy. We very nearly won it last year, but the judges thought the jumps of the Fair Oaks team weren't quite as clean as those of the EMI.
Well, they will be this year, sir. Especially if Jerry makes the team.
You're not modest, are you, Jerry?
All I know is if I make the team, I'll do the very best I can.
And I think that will be sufficient. Oh, just a minute. Look at that smokestack on the powerhouse there. Reaching majestically for the sky. An imposing sight, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
A pretty color, too. That pale gray against a background of white clouds.
Yeah, it sure is.
It's strange that some of the cadets think it would look better if it had the letters FMA smeared on it in gaudy blue paint.
Yeah.
Well, come on. I'm glad that you agree with me that the stack looks better plain gray.
Oh, yes, sir. Much better. Don't you think so, Jerry?
Oh, yeah, sure it does. Say, Major Davis.
Yes?
I completely forgot. When I went into your office, I wanted to ask you something, but when you told me Sergeant Alden wanted to see me, it slipped my mind.
What was it?
Oh, well, sir, I got a letter from Mr. Randall, and he said he was sending me a surprise. I was just wondering if some sort of a package came for me.
No, there was no package for you in the mail today.
That's funny. Mr. Randall said that the surprise should reach here about the same time as the letter.
Oh, I guess it takes a little longer for packages, huh?
Yes, it sometimes does. Oh, there's Sergeant Alden now. He's waiting for you.
Gee, he looks so stern. I wonder if he's angry about something.
Hello, Major Davis.
Hello, Sergeant.
Oh, I have something to take up with you, Cadet Dugan.
Yes, sir. I just got your message and came right out here, sir.
Well, just come with me now.
Yes, sir.
May we come along?
Oh, yes, do. Oh, you too, Cadet Phillips.
Yes. I could have been here sooner, but I didn't know you wanted to see me today. Oh, and thanks for putting my name on the list.
Well, I hope you make it, Dugan. You know, I'd like to have you on the team.
What are we coming back here to the stalls for?
I just wanted to ask you something about, You'll see.
This is your horse, isn't it, Sergeant Alden?
Oh, yes, that's right.
He's a pretty animal, Lee.
Yes, he is, sir. Very pretty.
That was Sergeant Alden's mount when he was in the Army.
Was that so? I didn't know that.
Oh, right here, Dugan, in this next stall. Take a look at that horse and tell me...
Splendor! Oh, gee, why, it's Splendor. Hey, look, Lee, Major Davis. Hey, it's Splendor from the circus. Oh, Splendor, am I glad to see you? Oh, gee, and you're glad to see me, too, aren't you, fella? Hey, where did he come from, Sergeant Alden? I mean, well, how did he get here? Lee, isn't he a beauty?
He sure is, Jerry. Gee, so that's Splendor.
I figured you'd be glad to see him.
Glad, say, oh, boy, you know, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Hey, can I go in the stall and pet him?
Well, sure, go right ahead.
Oh, gee, Splendor, I'm so glad to see you.
It appears the boy is very much fond of that horse.
Yes, it looks like a pretty nice friendship.
Major Davis,
Yes, Lee.
isn't that the surprise Mr. Randall sent?
Yes, that's right. Jerry's so excited it hasn't dawned on him yet.
He told me many times how much he thought of that horse. This is great, isn't it, Major Davis?
I didn't expect to see a welcome like that from either the horse or Jerry.
Yeah, and I'll talk to you some more in a minute, Splendor. But first I gotta find out what this is all about. Say, tell me, Sergeant Alden. Well, I don't understand.
Well, I think it best we let Major Davis do the explaining.
Well, Jerry, that's the surprise Mr. Randall mentioned in his letter to you.
Oh, sure. He said I might add a big surprise.
Well, is it big enough?
Well, I couldn't want anything more.
I'll explain it to you, Jerry. I'll tell you why Splendor's here at Fair Oaks.
Yes, sir.
Now, it seems that you wrote Mr. Randall that you were trying out for the polo team.
Yes, sir, I did, but that was some time ago.
Oh, yes, I know. But as soon as Mr. Randall received your letter, he wrote me and asked if it would be permissible to send you your own mount if you made the team.
Oh, I see.
I answered his letter and gave him the ruling. That is, that no cadet is allowed to have his own horse at the academy. Now then, he wrote back and wanted to know if we would accept Splendor as a gift from him to Fair Oaks. I thought this over for a couple of days, and then wrote him that we would accept his kind offer and appreciate the gift very much. But I added that you wouldn't be allowed to ride Splendor unless you took part in some of the equestrian activities.
Yes, sir.
You understand now, Splendor belongs to Fair Oaks Military Academy.
Yes, sir.
Sergeant Alden.
Yes, sir?
Did I mention to you that Mr. Randall informed me that a Mr. Whitey said Splendor had been trained as a jumper?
Yes, sir. I believe you did say something about his being a jumper.
Whitey. Gee, he told me he was going to make a good jumper out of Splendor. Splendor's mother was a wonderful jumper.
Well, the horse certainly shows very good early training.
I broke him in. I was the first one that ever rode him.
Yeah, that explains the friendship between you two, then.
And I nursed him through pneumonia. Gee, he was awful sick. Pretty nearly died.
Well, seems that you know more about horses than I thought you did.
Well, Whitey told me what to do. He's had charge of horses with circuses for years. Well, he knows plenty about them.
I should think he would.
Oh, by the way, I'm calling the boys for the riding test tomorrow afternoon, and I'll give you your call right now. I want you to be here right after class.
Yes, sir, I will. And may I try out on Splendor?
Would that be giving Dugan an advantage over the other boys?
I don't think so, Major. But I'll tell you what I had in mind to do, Dugan.
Yes, sir.
Now, inasmuch as Splendor is pure white...
And beautiful, too.
That's right, Major. I thought we'd try to use him as a pivot horse on the drill team.
He'd look very well in pivot position.
You see, Dugan, all the other horses on the team are bays, and I thought that the contrast would be very good if he were to hold down the pivot spot.
Excuse me, am I interrupting?
No, not at all, Morrison. Come in.
Hello, Sergeant Alden.
Oh, hello, Morrison.
Dugan, Phillips,
How are you?
We were just talking about Jerry's horse. This one here.
Jerry's horse?
Well, not exactly. You see, Mr. Randall, Jerry's guardian, just made a present of Splendor to the academy.
That's what I call a fine animal. Splendor, huh?
That's right.
Hello, Splendor.
A real circus pony, Morrison.
And a beauty.
What were you saying about the pivot position, Sergeant Alden?
Well, there isn't very much more to say, that's all. But I'd like to use him in that spot if I can. And I think he can do the work all right.
Pivot position on horseback is the same as in drill, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then that means that Splendor will have to stand still while the other horses go around in different formations.
That's right. You see, that not only takes a good horse, but it takes a good rider as well.
Well, I think I could do it all right. May I try out for that position?
Why, surely. I'll be glad to have you.
I'd like to put in my bid for that pivot position, Sergeant Alden.
Well, all right, Morrison. I'll give you your call now. It's tomorrow afternoon, just as fast as you can get here after class.
Yes, sir.
Then whoever gets the pivot position gets to ride Splendor.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'll have 3 of you trying out. You and Morrison and, Paul Warren.
Gee, I hope I make it.
May the best man win.
I wouldn't mind riding Splendor myself. It's safe to say we'll all try hard for that position.
Is that all now, Sergeant Alden?
Yes, I think so, as far as I'm concerned, but... Oh, how about you, Major?
Well, that's all, Jerry. I just wanted to come out here and be with you to see how you take your surprise. And it was worth the walk to see the expression on your face.
Goodbye, Splendor. See you tomorrow. Yes, I will.
Well, Major,
Looking for me?
there's no doubt about that little horse remembering him.
Yes, as you said, Sergeant. There's a real friendship there.
You ready, Lee? I want to get right back to the room and get a letter off to Mr. Randall before dinner.
Okay, Jerry.
Excuse us, please?
Surely. Go right ahead.
I'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
Yes, sir. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I want to write to Mr. Randall right away and thank him.
Mm-hmm, you should. In fact, he said in his letter for you to write him right away and let him know how you liked the surprise.
Boy, wasn't that a surprise, though.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you didn't know about it, did you?
No, I was just as surprised as you were.
Well, you know, I don't like the idea of somebody else riding Splendor, though. I think I should get to ride him.
Well, don't worry about that. I think you'll get to ride him all right.
But did you notice right away Red put in his bid for pivot position?
Mm-hmm.
That's just because he'd like to ride Splendor.
Yeah, you might be right about that. I don't know. But I wouldn't let it worry me any if I were you.
Don't you think Mr. Randall would want me to ride Splendor?
Yes, I guess he would. But he gave Splendor to the school with the understanding...
Oh, I know what you're going to say, but just the same,
Will
I
you
feel
stop
funny.
worrying till the time comes?
Isn't he a swell little horse, though?
Oh, as pretty a horse as I've ever seen, Jerry. You know, the thing that got me was the way he knew you. He knew you right away. The second he set eyes on you. You could just see it in his face.
Yeah. And did you see the way he kicked around in his stall and whinnied?
Mm-hmm.
Gee, that sure brings back memories of the circus. I've been so busy since I've been here, I haven't had much time to think about it. But I sure miss the animals and the clowns in makeup and the band playing and the lions and the crowds and...
What are you trying to do? Sell me on the idea of running away and joining a circus?
Well, I guess I am talking too much, but I just got to thinking.
Do you figure on being with a circus when you grow up?
Oh, I don't know. Mr. Randall didn't do so bad. He started with the circus when he was just a boy and wound up owning his own show.
Yeah, and it's one of the biggest circuses, too, isn't it?
I'll say it is.
You know, whenever I think about a circus, I think about the wild animal trainers. That's the job I'd like.
Who wouldn't? And don't think they don't make money either. Jason is one of the highest paid trainers in the world. He gets plenty.
It's risky, though.
Sure it is, but exciting. Jason always said that the excitement kept his nerve up.
Slow down up there. Uh-oh, here comes Red.
Now what's he want?
Slow down, Jerry. Now, listen, don't forget to salute. We're not in work clothes today, so there's no use starting trouble.
No, okay.
That's a grand horse the circus sent us.
What do you mean, us?
He belongs to the school now. Did you used to ride him when you were with the circus?
Uh-huh.
I guess they let anybody ride choice animals in a circus. But here at Fair Oaks, it's different. Splendor's much too good for a plebe to ride. I wouldn't say that. But I said it. And what's more, I'm going to make it my business to ride Splendor.
We'll see about that.
Okay, we will see about that. Don't forget, Dugan, that horse is school property, and you have no more claim on him than I have or anyone else.
Is that so?
Yes, that's so. And what's more, you can bet your uniform you won't be riding him on the mounted drill team.
African drums are calling. The slow, rhythmic cadence of the drums penetrates into the deepest bush. It crosses black, sinuous rivers and on into the surrounding country, rising and falling to the vagaries of the African breeze. It is a funeral dirge, and in the open space in the center of some village lies the cold body of a great chief. Slowly, each stepping carefully to his distance from the next, comes a line of 7 warriors. They circle the body, firelight playing a ghostly symphony along muscular bodies. They pause, but the wave-like ripples coursing continually up and down the back and out along the arms to the fingertips never ceases. It is the dance of death. They take up their rhythmic step again, keeping their distance. For if the aura of 2 warriors overlap, both will die. On and on they dance, past the false dawn, with the villagers standing in a great outer circle. And with the coming of day, the ceremony is complete. Professor Anton Edwards, his daughter Lorna, and his assistant Jack Martin have been captured by a savage tribe while on an expedition into the wilds of Africa. Nguru, the professor's huge Maasai bodyguard, has crept up to the hut where the 2 men are confined and slipped weapons to them. Jack and the professor were awaiting Nguru's signal when a cry from Lorna reached their ears.
I can't sit still with that scream of Lorna's ringing in my ears. Let's do something,
We
sir.
can't do a thing, Jack. If she's in danger, Nguru will take care of it. He's probably with her by now. It can't be very serious, or we'd have heard him in the center of a fight. Drums have stopped.
Do you really think she's all right?
I know she's not in any immediate danger, or Nguru would have let us know before now.
Oh, yes, I guess so. But just waiting
Patience, Jack, my boy. If I'm not mistaken, we'll be out of here shortly and in a position to really do something if necessary.
You have a lot of faith in Nguru, haven't you?
Yes, my boy. I've never yet known him to miss. He's always in the right spot at the right time.
He seems to have done it well this time, sir. But I don't yet see how we're going to get out. We're only 3 against the whole tribe.
The odds are pretty large, I know. But it's dark now. It's been done before, my lad, and there's no reason why it can't be done again.
What are your plans?
Well, if I know Nguru, he'll wait for the moon to drop behind the trees before starting anything. The village will be asleep by then, except for these guards and the ones tending the fire.
But the moment we try to break out, the whole place will be roused.
We won't make the first move, Jack. That's Nguru's. It's his job to attend to the guard outside this door. Then, as silently as we can, we get to the hut where Lorna is. And do the same for her. It's perfectly simple.
Yes, so it sounds. But you're used to this sort of thing, sir. You've done it before. I'm afraid I'm going to prove a handicap.
If you'll obey me implicitly, you won't. On the contrary, you'll be a great help.
It's very good of you to say that. But I can't help feeling I'm going to blunder somewhere.
It's just the fact that Lorna's freedom hangs on us makes you feel that way. You got that revolver strapped on you?
Yes, sir. It's the most comforting thing I've laid my hands on since we were taken.
You hear that? It's Nguru. He's starting. Won't be long now. But remember, Jack, that gun is not to be used unless it's the end of our plans.
Very well, sir.
One shot would rouse the village. If a native passes close to you, lie still and try to avoid him. But if he comes for you, use your hands on his throat and stop his yelling.
The thing I'm afraid of is making a noise.
That's the next move, Jack. Take your boots off. We'll have to leave them behind. I hate to do it. Just broken these in from marching.
Good Lord, sir. How about jiggers?
We'll have to trust to luck and take a chance on those little fellows. Roll your riding breeches up above your knees, too.
What's that for?
The same as taking your boots off. The first part of our journey will have to be made on hands and knees. And you want to be able to feel any dried twigs before you put your weight down. You snap one, and the whole place will be awake instantly.
Yes, that's what I'm afraid of, sir.
Well, feel with your hands, knees, and feet before you put them down. And put them down as softly as possible.
What was that?
It's Nguru doing his job. Are you all set to go, Jack?
All set.
Dog him sleep soundly, Buana.
That's good, Unguru. How many are there between us and my daughter?
No matter. We kill 'em. All go so for Buana. Guru.
It is well. Point the way.
Follow Buana.
Keep to the shadow, Jack. Keep with me and don't lag.
All right. Those men with their fires.
Keep moving. They can't see anything outside the circle of the light.
I think Nguru stopped.
Lie still. There. It's all right now. Go on. One of them got up to put wood on the fire.
That is house where Missy lie.
The one on the end there. I see. It is safe to rise now, eh?
Aye. These men, eyes watch. See nothing. All fool, Buana.
All right, Unguru. Jack, we're going to leave you here. If any of them leave the fire and start over toward us, hoot like an owl, as I've taught you. Here's a good knife. I shan't need it. But only as a last resort. After we've been discovered, can you use the gun?
I understand, sir.
One of us will come back for you if all goes well. If not, you'll soon know about it. But whatever you do, don't pass between the fire and the guards around Lorna's hut. Got it?
Yes.
Come on, Unguru. We can move fast.
This like year pass, Buana. Year war come long.
Yes, I've been thinking of that myself. Is it good, Unguru?
It is good. Two warrior, you, me, happy.
Have they harmed my child?
I speak Missy. She's safe. These men house cattle. No eye, no ear, no smell. They slave one man.
They're serving one man, eh?
Aye, Buana.
What is he? You know?
Guru know not. Guru smell white man.
White man? Maybe some renegade, eh?
That Missy prison hut so.
How many men guarding it?
Good for you, me.
Two, eh? Not so simple as that. Here comes one of them.
He come for wood, for fire. No here neck break. Down, Buana, down.
The old trick worked out, Guru. Only this time I took the feet and the head fell to you.
Guru slow, Buana. In Buana hand. Neck him break quick,
Look.
so.
The other one has noticed something. He's come to the edge of the hut, looking this way.
Dog. Him no good guard. Him come.
If he leaves his post through curiosity, he's in for a lesson.
Him ancestor wait in heaven. He come. You take him for head, Buana.
The way is open, Unguru. Come.
Aye, Buana. Buana hands quick.
Take the far side of the hut. Maybe there are more sentries there.
Nay, Buana. No more. Nguru no.
Lorna.
Oh.
Don't make a noise, dear.
Oh, Father, I knew you'd come.
Hush, dear. Not so loud.
Buana. Nguru go back for little Buana.
All right, Unguru. Where shall we meet?
Meet by the hut.
Sit by hut, huh?
Yes.
I look. See two man. I go.
Well, how did you do it, Father?
Unguru did it all. But first, tell me if you're all right. Have they hurt you?
Not a bit. I've been terribly scared, but that's all. They haven't laid a finger on me.
Thank heaven for that.
Where's Jack?
We left him to give the signal if they found we'd gone. He'll be here in a minute. Tell me, what happened when you were taken to the chief's hut?
That's the strange part of it. There was a white man there, and I swear I've seen him somewhere before.
A white man? Now I begin to understand a few things.
Oh, he was very courteous. said the whole thing was unavoidable and out of his hands.
Was he short and with a thick, bushy beard?
Yes. You know who it is.
They'll wait. Here they are.
Buana, Boma have two guards. Find dead man so-so.
Double the guards at the gate, eh? Good. Now there's one for each of us, Nguru.
Little Buana, he no pass. Nguru show, huh?
Yes. He showed me which way to go.
All right then, Jack. Follow us with Lorna, but keep a good distance. When the way is clear, you'll hear the hoot of an owl. So wait for it before approaching the opening.
Good luck, sir.
Oh, Jack, I knew something would happen to get us out of this mess.
We're not out of it yet, dear. But I think we've got the worst part over. Careful how you walk.
Yes.
We daren't spoil things now.
Where's Father gone?
To make sure we can get out. These bushes circle the top of this hill. The only way to get out is where we came in.
And they're guarding it.
Yes.
Is there any danger for Father?
No. At least I don't think so. Since I saw some of his work back there. There's the signal. Come on, dear, as quickly as you can. We're as good as out right now.
Palmolive Soap, your beauty hope, and Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous dream girl hair bring you Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. Our Miss Brooks teaches English at Madison High School, and although like most of our teachers, she possesses a higher-than-average intelligence, she also possesses the higher-than-average curiosity of most of our women. Especially when it comes to weighing machines. There's nobody more concerned about the result than a female who has just deposited her penny in the slot.
Unless it's the male tub of lard who was on the scale when I got there. This happened last Wednesday after school. I was passing the drugstore and just happened to have a penny on me. Tuesday was payday. So I approached the weighing machine, and like I said, this brewery horse was stomping on the springs. And when he saw his weight on the little card, he looked around the drugstore, then made tracks for a sign saying girdle department. I calmly stepped aboard, and when my card came out, I glanced casually at my weight, chuckled as if to say, how much accuracy can you expect for a cent? And was just about to throw the card away when I noticed my fortune printed on the back. It said, a tall, dark man is coming into your life. Then, of course, I did drop the card. It landed in my purse, and I proceeded on home. By the next morning, I'd forgotten about it completely. As usual, I'd left word for Mrs. Davis, my landlady, to wake me at 7:30.
Connie. Oh, Connie.
What is it?
Better hurry, Connie. You've only got 20 minutes.
20 minutes? What time is it?
7:10, and you've only got 20 minutes to sleep.
Oh, fine. Well, come on in, Mrs. Davis.
Did you have a good night, Connie? I said, did you have a good night?
Good night, Mrs. Davis.
You better get up now, Connie. Here, I've brought you some fruit juice. Go on, Connie, take a sip.
Oh, what kind of juice is this?
It's a combination. Pineapple, papaya, and passion fruit. It's a genuine Hawaiian recipe.
What do you stir it with, a ukulele?
After you drink it, we'll have a nice... Why, Connie, what's that little white card?
What little white card?
This one here on your night table. Let's see. It says, a tall, dark man is coming into your life. Now, who do you suppose that could be?
Well, it's not Sonny Tufts. He's a blonde.
Maybe they mean Mr. Philip Boynton.
The bashful biologist? No, Mrs. Davis. So far, he's managed to remain in the suburbs of my life.
Well, of course, I don't believe in fortunes on cards and crystal gazing and palm reading and all that nonsense. There is, however, a logical and scientific way to arrive at certain conclusions about one's personal destiny.
What's that, Mrs. Davis?
Tea leaves. Now, you hurry and get dressed, and I'll brew the tea. After breakfast, I'll give you a reading.
All right, Mrs. Davis. Oh, just a minute.
What is it, Connie?
Before I get out of bed, you better take that tall, dark man off my night table.
finished with your tea, Connie?
Yes, Mrs. Davis.
Let's see now. Where are the leaves?
Well, most of them are in my teeth.
Here we are. There's plenty left for a reading. First, we revolve the cup 3 times slowly between our hands, then quickly turn it over onto the saucer. There. Well, what do you know? The weight card was right.
What?
There he is, right there in the cup. The tall, dark man who's coming into your life. Don't tell me you can't see him.
Oh, of course. For a minute, I didn't recognize him with all those tea leaves on.
This is an amazing coincidence, Connie. I'd like to get another reading if you don't mind.
Oh, not at all, Mrs. Davis. It's always nice to be sure.
Well, what do you know about that?
I know, he's gone. Left town without even saying goodbye.
Connie, be serious. This is an amazing thing I see in this cup.
What now, Mrs. Davis?
I don't think I should tell you.
Why not?
Because you're not even married yet.
Oh, but I'm a big girl now. I'll have to find out sooner or later.
I never would have believed it. 3 of them.
3 tall, dark men?
No, Constance. 3 little ones.
3 little dark men?
Children. You're going to have 3 children.
Well, don't look so shocked, Mrs. Davis. Maybe they're his by a former marriage.
No, Connie, they're yours. But how can you keep your job at school if you've got to take care of... Oh, I know. I'll get Mrs. Fletcher. When my niece Bertha had the twins, Mrs. Fletcher took over completely.
Oh, now, just a minute, Mrs. Davis. Don't you think
now,
it's a little
quiet,
soon?
Connie. You can't prepare too soon for this sort of thing. Now, where did I put Mrs. Fletcher's phone number? I better call
I don't want Mrs. Fletcher. I'll take care of my kids myself.
Yes, that's the way you want it, Connie. After all, I'm only trying to be helpful.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Davis. This tea leaf business is pretty fascinating. But I better get ready. Walter Denton's giving me a lift to school again.
Oh, is your car in the repair shop, Connie?
Yes, it is.
What's wrong with it this time?
Well, I can't be sure, but I think that Joe, the mechanic, and my car are that way about each other. Every time I try to separate them, the car blows a gasket. Oh, there's Walter now. I'll be right with you, Walter.
Oh, before you go, Connie, please do me one favor.
Certainly. What is it?
Promise me you'll be very careful today.
Careful? Oh, you mean about my fortune. Mrs. Davis, I give you my word of honor. I'll let you know in plenty of time to call Mrs. Fletcher. Walter, it's very nice of you to keep driving me to school like this.
Oh, that's all right, Miss Brooks. I don't like to take advantage of the fact that because your car is incapacitated and I can jump into the breach now and then, transportation-wise, that is, you can't very well refuse gracefully, but I'm telling you can before I even ask you. That's squaring up, isn't it?
Square as things since Clyde McCoy. But being an English teacher, I practically understand you, Walter. Just what kind of advice do you need this morning?
Oh, it's a girl.
What's a girl?
Harriet Conklin.
Why, Walter Denton, you've been wearing your glasses again. What about Harriet?
Well, I'm afraid it's a pretty long story.
That's all right. I have a pretty long ear.
Well, as you know, Miss Brooks, Harriet Conklin is the daughter of Mr. Conklin.
Granted.
Who in turn is married to Harriet's mother, Mrs. Conklin. It all started the night before last. See, I told you it was a long story.
Only the way you tell it. Go ahead.
Well, the night before last, I had a date with Harriet to go to the movies. But when I got to her house to pick her up, she acted like I had bubonic plague or something.
Did you? I mean, what did she do?
Well, she said that she couldn't be bothered with me anymore because a tall, dark man was coming into her life.
Her too? Must be an epidemic. Where did she find out about this tall, dark man?
Well, that's where Mother comes in.
Maybe there's a shorter way to listen to this story.
Her mother and Harriet had taken out the Ouija board that afternoon. That's when they found out about this tall guy.
Well, after all, Walter, you can't compete with a non-existent rival.
That's just the trouble. He's not non-existent.
He's not?
No, he materialized yesterday.
Oh, now, Walter, please.
No, it's true, Miss Brooks. Harriet told me all about him when I called yesterday evening, although I wasn't going to after the way she treated me the evening before. But when I did, she told me that this tall, dark French teacher had checked in at their house to give her father his papers before he began teaching French at school today.
I know you're telling me something because I can see your lips moving. What is it, Walter?
Well, don't you understand, Miss Brooks? It's called an exchange deal. This teacher came over from Paris, France.
What did we send them? 2 outfielders and a shortstop?
Oh, I don't know about that, but I do know that Harriet sounded like this French teacher was a combination of Maurice Chevrolet and...
I know. Maurice Chevrolet and Charles Buick.
I was going to say Charles Boyer.
That's what I was afraid you were going to say. This teacher must be quite an interesting personality. What's his name?
Let's see now. There's an article about him in the school paper. Oh, I know. It's Manette. Jacques Manette.
Jacques Manette? Oh, you mean Jacques Monet. Say, that is a romantic-sounding name, all right. I'll bet he's a very nice person.
Oh, it's not him I'm worried about. It's Harriet. Since he showed up, she thinks the Ouija board is infallible.
The Ouija board? Oh, that's ridiculous. Harriet's much too sensible to... Why, I'm surprised at her. Next thing you know, she'll be having her tea leaves read. 3 children?
Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, will continue in just a moment. But first, here is Vern Smith with an important announcement.
Doctors, leading skin specialists, prove Palmolive soap using nothing but Palmolive can bring lovelier complexions, regardless of age, skin type, or previous beauty care.
Less oily skin for Helen Bixon, Minneapolis.
Fresher, brighter color for Clara Franklin, San Francisco.
Smoother, younger-looking skin for Rochelle Bruchot, New York City.
Yes, 36 doctors, leading skin specialists, advised using Palmolive for 1,285 women, many with complexion problems. Some had dry skin, some oily, some dull and coarse-looking. And using Palmolive alone, nothing else, 2 out of 3 won fresher, brighter skin. Now, here's the plan these doctors advised.
Wash your face with Palmolive soap. Massaging for 1 minute with Palmolive soft lather. This cleansing massage brings your skin Palmolive beautifying effect. Rinse. Do this 3 times a day for 14 days.
It's that simple. But remember, leading skin specialists prove this plan really works, regardless of age, skin type, or previous beauty care. So try Palmolive soap this way, using nothing but Palmolive, as these doctors advised, for a lovelier complexion.
For loveliness all over, use big, thrifty bath size Palmolive in your tub or shower.
Well, here we are, Miss Brooks.
Thanks, Walter, and don't worry too much about losing Harriet's affections. I'm sure the French teacher's just a passing phase in her life.
Say, there's Harriet on the steps. I'll go find a place to park. See you later, Miss Brooks.
All right, Walter. Hello there, Harriet.
What? Oh, hello, Miss Brooks. You'll have to forgive me if I seem to be in a reverie.
I've heard about your Ouija board.
I don't care what anybody says, Miss Brooks. There must be something to it. Imagine the very next day, he came along.
It's the first time I've ever seen capital letters in conversation. He must be quite attractive.
Attractive isn't the word, Miss Brooks.
No, what is the word?
Heavenly. Super heavenly. Stratospherically heavenly.
Oh, please, Harriet. I'll come up a little if you'll come down a little.
Oh, wait till you see him, Miss Brooks. He's...
Adjust safety belts. Mm-hmm. Look, Harriet, I think it's all very natural for a schoolgirl to have crushes. I had them myself.
You, Miss Brooks?
Yes, me, Miss Brooks. I wasn't born an English teacher, you know. I also think it's perfectly normal for a girl your age to think like a schoolgirl in other ways. But I do say this, and I mean it sincerely, Harriet. You don't have to act like a schoolgirl.
Pardonnez-moi, but you are the principal's daughter, Harriet, no?
Mais oui, Monsieur Monet, mais oui. Oh, this is Miss Brooks.
Miss Brooks, je suis enchanté. That is, I've heard so much about you. But it is, how do you say, understatement. You're so youthful, so lovely. Why, you're like a pupil, not a teacher.
Run along, Harriet. You'll be late for school.
But we're at school.
Oh? When did that get here?
Something is wrong.
Wrong? Oh, I should say not, Monsieur Monet. It's just that, well, we don't meet such distinguished visitors every day, and, well, they must have given at least 3 outfielders and 2 shortstops for him.
Pardon?
Oh, it's just a figure of speech.
Oh, and a lovely figure you have, too.
Oh, this is a doll. Shall we go into the school, Monsieur Monet?
Oui, yes. I have to stop at Monsieur Conklin's office. You show me where it is, huh? No?
I show you where is it. Yes. And I hope Mr. Boynton sees us together.
I'll direct Monsieur Monet to Daddy's office, Miss Brooks.
Oh, you won't have time, Harriet. You have to freshen up before your class.
Freshen up? But I just stepped out of the shower.
Then give yourself a rub down. You'll catch cold. This way, monsieur.
Well, it's our new French teacher. Good morning, Monsieur Monet.
Bonjour, Monsieur Conklin. Excuse me, I mean good morning.
Hi, Daddy.
Hello, Harriet.
Mr. Conklin, I just came in to volunteer my assistance if you're looking for somebody to show Mr. Monet around the school.
I told Miss Brooks that I'd be glad to take Mr. Monet, Daddy. Of course, I'd need your permission to cut one of my classes. Maybe English. I'm pretty well advanced in that.
Me too. Maybe we both could cut it.
Please, I would not want either of you to, how do you say, put out yourselves.
Oh, it would be silly to put out ourselves now. After all, we just started to blaze.
I'm sure I'll be able to show Mr. Monet the rope.
But, Daddy, you're too busy.
Oh, much too busy, Daddy. I mean... Mr. Conklin, I have a study period coming up in which I
don't want to hear any more about it. I'm sure Mr. Monet wouldn't want us to feel that because of him our entire system was disrupted.
Oh, certainly not. I can find my own way about the premises. I'm sure that...
Well, in that case, come along, Harriet. You're in my first class, you know.
Oh, one moment, Miss Brooks. Would you do me the great honor of perhaps having lunch with me?
With pleasure. Oh, but I did have a date with Mr. Boynton. I think that date, too. Maybe it'll open his eyes a little. I'll see you in the cafeteria, Mr. Monet.
But I thought Mr. Monet was going to have lunch with us. Didn't you tell me you were going to invite him to the house, Daddy?
Invite him? Well, I suppose so.
Thank you just the same, monsieur, but I would rather not leave the school proper during my first day.
Ah, an admirable spirit, Monet. If more of our homegrown teachers had it, Madison High School would be a better place in which to learn something. Something like English, for example.
Yes. Well, as the little boy in the Fisk ad says, it's time to retire.
Come in.
Hello, Mr. Boynton.
Oh, it's you, Miss Brooks. How are you today?
Fine, thanks. I'm glad I caught you before your class got in. I wanted to ask you about lunch.
Oh, I'll be happy to join you. Thanks very much.
Oh. Well, I had other plans, but how can I resist an invitation like that? By the way, Mr. Boynton, do you speak any foreign language?
Just American.
Why, Mr. Boynton, you're getting quite a sense of humor. Must catch it from your frogs. Really, though, do you speak French, for instance?
No, I don't.
Then you wouldn't know what a French person would be saying to me if he said it in French, would you?
No, I wouldn't.
Good. This may be a very interesting lunch for all of us.
All of us?
Yes, you see, there's a new teacher in school.
Oh, you mean Jacques Monet?
You've met him?
Oh, yes. I had to deliver some papers to Mr. Conklin's home yesterday, and he was there. Oh, he's a prince of a chap. We had quite a time together. Be nice to see him again at lunch.
Oh, it will.
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, you'll have to apologize to him for me. I'm afraid I'll be a little late.
Oh, you will? That's too bad, Mr. Boynton. Why will you be late?
Well, it's MacDougal here. You know, my bullfrog. He's got me worried, Miss Brooks. It's his throat. He can't seem to croak above a whisper.
Oh, that's too bad. Poor MacDougal. Hi, Mac. He must have gargled.
Did sound pretty good, but no, I'll still have to stay close to him to see how the medication I'm giving him catches on. I'll get to lunch as soon as I can, though. Ah, good old Jacques Monet. He's a real man's man.
You've been wrong before, Brother Boynton, but never like this. Here's a nice table, Mr. Monet. Let's sit down.
Oui. Yes, Miss Brooks. This is certainly a big restaurant.
It's a cafeteria, Mr. Monet.
Yes. Now then, shall we look at the carte du jour, bill of fare?
Bill of fare?
Mhm.
Oh, you mean menu. They don't have any menus here, Mr. Monet.
No? Then how do you select an order?
Well, here you don't exactly select an order. You just sort of point and holler. I'll show you in a minute. But first, I'd like to ask a little favor, Mr. Monet. As you know, Mr. Boynton is joining us for lunch.
Oh, yes. Yes, fine fellow, Mr. Boynton. A real man's man.
On him it fits. I mean, he is a very nice man, but he's sort of shy.
Shy?
Mhm.
Why should he be shy? He is tall, muscular, with a fine head of hair, good teeth, pleasing manner.
What else is new? What I wanted to ask of you is very simple. You see, Mr. Boynton is too bashful to ask you himself, but I'm sure he'd get a tremendous kick. That is, he'd enjoy it if you spoke nothing but French during our lunch.
But why?
Well, he's trying to learn how to speak your language. He understands it fine, but he's not sure of his pronunciation. He could learn a lot from you about a lot of things.
Well, I suppose I could help him.
He's coming over now, Mr. Monet. Remember how you kissed my hand this morning? Would you do it again, please?
What?
Quickly, Mr. Monet. It's part of Mr. Boynton's education. Hurry, here, my hand.
Miss Brooks, I don't like to be, how do you say, gouchy, but you're pushing out one of my feelings.
There you are. What's the trouble, Mr. Monet? Got something caught in your teeth?
Just an old cuticle of mine. Sit down, Mr. Boynton.
Comment ça va aujourd'hui, monsieur?
Yeah. How do you like our cafeteria?
C'est bon.
Mr. Monet says it's lovely, but not half as lovely as I am. Why, Mr. Monet, how flattering. Let's see now. What do we eat today?
Well, how about the roast beef? That's what I'm going to have.
Me, too. How about you, Mr. Monet? Tell him in French.
Je désire un petit marmite, eau vichysoise, une salade et une tranche de roast beef, des haricots verts, des crêpes Suzette et une demi-tasse.
Oh, Mr. Monet, you and your compliments. Oh, now stop that and tell Mr. Boynton what you want to eat.
But I do not understand.
Mr. Monet, quel voulez-vous manger?
Mr. Boynton, you little spy, you can speak French.
Oh, no, I can't, Miss Brooks. Not really. Those are just a few words I picked up when I was in the Army.
The Army? You were stationed in New Orleans, and you know it.
But near the French Quarter.
Well, let us not delay any longer. I don't suppose they have what I really want for lunch, but maybe, eh? Do they ever have frog's legs?
What?
Oh, don't say it, Mr. Monet.
Well, why not? Frog's legs are delicious to eat. Let's all have them, eh?
Me? Eat frog's legs? Why, I'd feel like a cannibal. If you'll excuse me, I'm afraid I've lost my appetite. I'll see you later, Miss Brooks.
Why would he feel like a cannibal if he ate frog's legs? He is not a frog.
Only in some ways is he not a frog, Mr. Monet. But don't worry about Mr. Boynton now.
Oh, yes, you're right. You're right, Miss Brooks. You know, in a way, I'm glad we're alone. There's something I would like to ask you. You see, I have been searching for just the right one ever since I come to America. And now, well, I feel that my search is at an end. You are the one I've been searching for.
Oh, Mr. Monet. But Mr. Boynton's gone now. You don't have to talk like that to me.
Oh, I don't think of Mr. Boynton. I think of you, Miss Brooks. Ma chère, Miss Brooks. I have something personal to talk to you about. But right now I'm late for an appointment with Mr. Conklin. Can you meet me someplace, right after school?
How about the Casbah? I mean the park. Mr.
Fine, fine.
Of course, I have several papers to mark, and besides, I have to formulate my plans for tomorrow's class, and there are some other routine affairs I must take care of.
Oh, I realize this. How long will it all take?
Well, school doesn't let out until 3, and it's a 20-minute walk to the park. Would 3:10 be all right?
I will come right to the point, Miss Brooks. I have met you here in the park to make you what you call proposal.
Proposal? But, Mr. Monet, you hardly know me.
Oh, I know you well enough for this, Miss Brooks. After talking to many, many women, Mrs. Conklin, little Mrs. Conklin, Harriet. I mean, I know you are the ideal woman for me.
Oh, this is very flattering, Mr. Monet, but marriage is a serious step.
Marriage? I cannot marriage with you. I am already married.
With who?
Well, with my wife, Helene. She arrives here next week. For you, I have another proposal.
Any other proposal is only good for a sock in the nozzle.
No, you do not understand. I want you to accept a position as tutor for my 3 children.
3 children? Oh, Mrs. Davis will love this.
Well, they need very badly coaching in English before they can enter school here. And, well, what do you say, Miss Brooks? Will you help us out?
Mr. Monet, may I ask you one question?
Of course. What is it?
Among your children, is there a tall, dark one in the crowd?
Eve Arden as our Miss Brooks returns in just a moment. But first...
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl.
Tonight, show him how much lovelier your hair can look after a Luster Cream shampoo. Only Luster Cream brings you Kay Daumit's magic formula blend of secret ingredients plus gentle lanolin. Gives loveliness lather even in hardest water. Glamorizes your hair as you wash it. Luster Cream, not a soap, not a liquid, but a dainty cream shampoo. Leaves hair fragrantly clean, free of loose dandruff, glistening with sheen, soft, manageable, gives new beauty to all hairdos or permanents. 4-ounce jar, $1. Smaller sizes, either tubes or jars. Tonight, try Luster Cream shampoo and be a
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl. You owe your crowning glory to a luster cream shampoo.
And now, once again, here is our Miss Brooks.
Well, I promised Mr. Monet I'd help him out with his children, but I must admit I was a little let down when I found out he wasn't a bachelor. And I said as much to Mrs. Davis.
Yes, Connie, it's a shame that such a darling man is already married.
But he served his purpose as far as upsetting Mr. Boynton goes.
What do you mean, Connie?
Well, the day after we had lunch together, Mr. Boynton was so concerned about the situation, guess what he did?
What?
He put a brand new lock on his frog's cage.
Next week, tune in to another Our Miss Brooks show brought to you by Palmolive Soap, your beauty hope, and Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous dream girl hair.
Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, is produced by Larry Burns, written and directed by Al Lewis, with music by Wilbur Hatch. Mr. Boynton is played by Jeff Chandler, Mr. Conklin by Gail Gordon. Others in tonight's cast were Jane Morgan, Dick Crenna, Gloria McMillan, and Gerald Moore.
Dentists know what cleans teeth best. And over 4,000 dentists say Colgate tooth powder with a 2-minute routine gets teeth sparkling and super clean. So to remove dull film and get your teeth shining clean, just brush teeth 2 minutes morning and night with Colgate tooth powder. Brush inside, outside, and biting surfaces. Always brush away from the gums. See how this gets teeth naturally bright. It removes dull film that improper brushing misses. And Colgate tooth powder also sweetens your breath. Try it. Buy Colgate tooth powder today.
For mystery liberally sprinkled with laughs, listen to Mr. and Mrs. North, the exciting, fun-packed adventures of an amateur detective and his beautiful wife. Tune in Tuesday evenings over most of these same stations. And be with us again next week at the same time for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks.
Do you want to be free to work where you choose, start your own business, own your own home, invest your money as you see fit? Then the American way of life is best for you. We have the highest standard of living. Since 1910, we have practically doubled our annual income, yet our working time has been cut by about 18 hours a week. Let's start to realize how fortunate we are. Let's work a little harder on our jobs and at being better citizens. Let's remember that the better we produce, the better we live.
Stay tuned now for Lum and Abner. Bob Lamont speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
And what was the clue again, Julian?
Geordie double act.
I know Algernon Swinburne and William Bell Scott spent some time in Newcastle. Would have been just after the Anglo-Persian War of 1856.
Is it Anton Deck?
I very much doubt it, Thomas. I've never heard of it.
Anton Deck does fit, yes. Although it would mean Peter's answer for 7 down is wrong. But then I did have my doubts about the answer being written in Sumerian, especially in Maureen's Take a Break magazine.
Hey, where is she?
I'm afraid dear Maureen had to visit the hospital last night for a little operation.
Oh, dear. What's wrong?
It's rather a delicate matter, Tom. Hence, she's sworn me to secrecy.
Maureen's had her bunions removed.
Naturally, I told Julian. It's not healthy to keep secrets all to oneself. The canker that destroys.
Well, I hope she's all right. It's a serious procedure.
Oh, she'll be fine. Maureen's as tough as old boots.
I believe it was her old boots that caused the problem in the first place.
Well, if she's not going to be joining us today, then we should probably start the meeting. Oh, what the hell is that noise?
Sounds like it's getting closer.
Do we have any visitors booked in today?
Not this month, no.
Julian, best not to take any chances. Pass me that sabre off the wall.
Will do.
Oh, Peter, no, not after last time.
Whatever comes through that door, just hold firm, chaps. Hold firm!
Plum House by Ben Cottam and Paul McKenna. Episode 3, A Night to Remember.
Panting, Alan. You're breathing all over my face like a wet dog.
Oh, sorry, Maureen.
Now put me down.
Well, I never.
You didn't just carry Maureen all the way upstairs.
No. Oh, no. I carried a wheelchair up as well.
Not a bad bit of kit, this. I borrowed it off my sister. Had to pop to the hospital last night for a little operation.
Don't worry, Maureen. Your bunion secret is safe with me.
I can tell. Look, I don't want treating no differently just because I'm in a wheelchair. I'll still be able to do everything in the gift shop. I've had a go on the drive and I'm as fast as that Tanny Gray Thompson.
When I'm pushing you.
Anyway, what have I missed?
Oh, well, we haven't started yet. So does anybody have anything they'd like to discuss this morning?
Who presents Gardener's World? 5 and 3.
Hey! Get your mitts off my magazine. I was halfway through that crossword.
Anything actually related to Plum House?
Move away, Alan. You're sweating all over me.
Oh, sorry. I was just leaning on the wheelchair in case I fainted again, Maureen.
Oh, yes. Wait. I do have news. We had a very exciting letter delivered in the post this morning.
And what did it say?
Well, I'm afraid I couldn't open it. They had the wrong address. But it looked like a tremendously interesting envelope.
I see.
Nothing like proper stationery, is there? The only envelope of any merit we ever get sent is that blasted award invitation we always receive.
Oh, not that rubbish again.
I wish they'd give it a rest.
Can I just open a window?
Sorry, what award invitation?
Oh, every year Plum House is nominated as Best Museum in Cumbria. We received our invitation to the award ceremony last month, but don't worry, I just filed it under D for dustbin.
What? When are the awards?
Tomorrow.
Oh, my God, but we've got to go. This is amazing news.
Oh, Tom, we get nominated every year.
It's because there's only 2 trust museums in the Lake District. Ols and the Dry Stone Wall Place at Copley Beck.
And they've beaten us to the prize 20 years in a row. The ignominy of it.
Although it is a good museum, especially if you like walls with no mortar.
It's champion.
But, guys, this is still great news. I mean, we should have it on our website. Well, we should build a website first and then put it on there. Where's it held?
Oh, that's the worst thing. It's in London. As if anyone in their right mind would want to go there.
Look, Peter, I think we should go. Show our faces. At least have a glass of free Prosecco.
Well, what about me? Can't I come?
I suppose I could be tempted back to the capital. It's been some time since my last visit. I know this marvellous Lion's Corner house.
And what are me and Alan supposed to do while you're both swanning around down there?
We'll only be gone for the day, Maureen, and you can't really travel in your current condition anyway.
Fine, but you can at least bring me back some merchandise for the gift shop. Alan, come on, pick me up.
Oh.
That's it.
Oh. Right, I'll go look into some train tickets.
Next clue, Julian?
Famous racehorse, 10 letters.
Bucephalus?
How am I spelling that?
Platform 1 will be the 9:52 down to...
Have you got everything, Peter?
I've got a brown paper bag full of mint imperials and an annotated edition of Xenophon. Was any man ever better equipped for a trip to the metropolis?
And you're sure you don't want me to come with you?
No, don't worry, Julian. We only have 2 tickets anyway. You didn't actually all need to come to the station to wave us off, and perhaps would have made sense to have at least one member of staff at the museum.
It's something to do, though, isn't it?
You okay, Alan?
That hill. So steep. A long way to push.
Oh, will you stop moaning? It's downhill on the way back.
Right. Well, we'll see you all in the morning.
Back to your window seat!
Tom, this just isn't fair. I'm missing out on all the fun.
Yeah, but look, Julian, if me and Peter aren't at Plum House, that means you're technically in charge.
Oh, yes? Oh, well, in that case, bon voyage.
You still need to be sensible, though, Julian, so don't do anything...
Yeah, we'll be back in the morning to pick you up. And don't worry, Plum House is in safe hands. My hands. Safe as there are.
Come on, Alan. Up you get. Home time.
Oh, but good Alan. Stop lying on the ground. Maureen needs a hand. So steep.
Thank you. Thanks.
Splendid cab driver, like a young Sidney Poitier. Could have tipped him, though, Tom, or indeed paid him.
Well, it's an Uber, Peter, so... never mind.
Old Mother London. Go on, give her a sniff. No, bring her deep into your nostrils. Doesn't she smell fantastic? Can't believe how quickly we've made it here from Cumbria.
Yes, those 3 hours of Greek poetry just flew by.
Didn't they just? I tell you what, though, it's a shame that nice young man never opened his hatch for us.
What?
To serve us some tea. I don't know about you, but I was gasping about Preston. Any fluid would have sufficed.
Yeah, can we just keep the innuendo at a minimum today?
Innuendo?
Seriously, I need you on your best behaviour at these awards.
Tom, I'm senior prefect to your head boy. Actually, I should be head boy, shouldn't I?
Yeah, we'll just keep everything at a minimum today.
If you insist.
Here he is, my favourite Alan. I don't know any others, but still.
Maureen's let me have 5 minutes off for a warm Ribena.
Yeah, I've brought you some delicious custard creams. Don't eat too many, they're Peter's.
Oh, thank you. I'm goosed. It's like pushing round a Panzer tank. I don't just mean that because a wheelchair was made in Germany, but because it's very, very heavy.
Well, if you wanted to escape from Maureen for a while, you could always come and give your best pal Julian a hand with something.
But she'll shout at me.
Yes, but you won't hear her if you're upstairs, will you?
Oh, yeah?
And this little task will take no time at all. It's a very simple in-and-out job.
All right. What are we doing?
Let's just say I've got an idea for a little stunt. Something to get social media buzzing about Plum House.
So you what?
Trust me, it'll be brilliant.
Okie dokie. I'll just drink this Ribena.
But we don't have time, Alan.
But my mouth, it's very dry, and I'm a bit dizzy still, and I can't actually see anything out of my left eye.
I'm sure a bit of work will take your mind off it. Now, come on, before she spots us.
But I haven't had a drop of
Leave the Ribena.
Well, it's not a bad venue, is it?
Yeah. The convention of vacuum cleaner salesmen, perhaps.
Oh, come on, there's a cellist.
It's an exceedingly poor show if one can't stretch to a full quartet. God, look at this dump. I don't know why they don't have done with it and give out the trophies in the car park.
But you have to be so negative.
Well, I mean, they've even stuck us right at the back.
Well, you hadn't attended the ceremony for 20 years.
Is it any wonder?
Volavant, sir?
No, thank you. They look disgusting.
Peter, please, can you just make an extra bit of effort today? I hate to say this, but watch what I do at these kind of events.
Half a glass of Prosecco and he thinks he's Peter Ustinov.
See, networking is all about painting on a big fake smile and...
Tom Collier!
Charles! You remember Peter Knight?
Of course. Hello, Peter. Or what at Plum House, keeping an eye on Thomas for me?
Well, no need for that. You see, Peter's fully behind our new strategy outline, Plum House Vision 2025. I sent that through last week.
I haven't read it yet.
Well, you're in for a treat.
Yeah, well, let's book a catch-up in Q1 next year.
Are you not talking in Esperanto?
Oh, we can touch base and we...
And what?
Don't look at me. I haven't the foggiest idea what the man's talking about.
And can meeting. We have meeting. You and me meeting.
Yes, great, Tom. Pablo! If it isn't our great diversity guru himself.
Who on earth was that man? If I met him before, then I've gladly forgotten him.
No, Peter, look. Over there on the table of the British Museum. It's Emma.
Who?
Hey, voila!
What do you want to do with a suit of armour?
Get in it.
Why?
Because we can take my picture and put it online and it might go viral or something. And also, I've always wanted to have a go in here, but Tom's always forbidden it, so just give us a lift getting in.
But wasn't this suit made for somebody a bit,
What? Just don't look at me like that. Of course I'll fit. Come on, help me into it, Squire.
And now we come on to the award for Best Museum
Emma,
in the North.
you say?
Why, hi, Matt!
No, I'm none the wiser.
She was the education officer at Plum House.
Really?
Yes!
Are you thinking of Maureen?
No, I was in love with her. And I told her how I felt, and then she moved down to London, and I kind of had a breakdown.
Ah, now I do remember. I remember you having a mild infatuation with a wee bit of skirt a while back. Well, we've all made that mistake once.
Peter, you can't say... Look, Emma wasn't just...
Yes. You made your point. If I wanted to listen to a load of tedious drivel, then I'd simply pay more attention to the Master of Ceremonies and his endless nonsense.
Oh, God, he's doing his best.
The Hadrian's Wall Guardhouse.
It was meant to be Rick Stein, but he's unwell. Just eaten too much fish, apparently.
And now we move further north for the award for Best Trust Museum in Cumbria.
Peter, it's us.
I think we know who's going to win this one.
Well, we do only have 2 museums in the lakes, but this year the winner is... Plum House.
What? We've done it! We finally done it!
Amazing!
What do we do?
Go there and get it, Peter.
Me? No, we'd never won it without you, old boy.
You're the curator.
Yes, I am, aren't I? Yes. Put your crash helmet on and fasten your safety belt. Peter Knight's about to blow the roof off the joint.
Oh, God.
Congratulations. And now we move on to...
I have a few words to say. Thank you very much indeed. Ladies and General Infantrymen, I always told myself that if Plum House were ever to receive long overdue recognition at these annual charades, that I wouldn't use this platform to settle old scores. But gazing down at row upon row of tailors' dummies, no, fatted pigs, is more fitting for you lot.
Oh, no.
Obsessed with your pointless targets.
Oh, excuse me.
Mission statements.
Excuse me.
Your managerial merry-go-round.
I think what our curator is trying to say is thank you to everyone here at the Trust for this award. It means an awful lot to us. As everyone knows, we've faced a few challenges over the years, but we keep doing our best to improve. So this is really for everyone there. Peter, Maureen, Alan, Julian, I suppose. And Emma Hughes, actually, wherever she is these days. Who knows, could be anywhere. But her hard work was a big part in us collecting this honour today.
Who on earth is Emma Hughes?
Not now, Peter.
OK, I'm lowering the visor now. Are you all right?
Great.
There we go.
Ah, fantastic. Great. I am a knight in a suit of armour. To Camelot. Brilliant. Oh. It's a bit warm in here. Dark, too. Still, go get the camera.
What camera?
Just use your mobile phone.
My what?
Oh, for goodness sake, right, use mine then. Oh, no, wait, it's in my pocket. I can't get it out now. This is a very heavy suit. And he's hot, he's very steamy. Oh, I'm starting to sweat.
I did say.
What? It's hard to hear inside this.
Oh, no, I think she saw us.
Alan, I'm actually too hot. Oh, I want to get out. And I need to get... Oh, I need the toilet. I should have gone before I got in. Oh, no. Right, you've got to get me out.
What the bloody hell's going on?
Quickly. I've got to go. I've got to let me bend over and take the helmet off.
Alan, who's in that contraption?
What? Oh, God, it won't budge. Just...
Watch the stairs, Mr. Julian.
What? Ah!
Yes, you're at the bottom now.
What are you playing at?
Is that Maureen? I can't see. I think I might need to borrow your wheelchair. My legs have locked up.
Borrow my wheelchair? You can take a lend of my Take a Break magazine instead, you great thumb-brained...
Oh! Why am I saying that? I can't feel a thing. The armour works.
Take that, you...
I'll go and get some WD-40.
I can't feel that, Maureen. It's a waste of considerable effort.
Very well done. Many congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, well, come visit us at any time, the museum.
Hello, you.
Emma! What are you doing here?
Here with my British Museum team.
Right, wow. Do you know, I had absolutely no idea that you were here. This is, wow, I'm actually shocked. I don't know if you can see how shocked I am.
I can, yeah. I guess congratulations are in order.
Oh, thank you. Yes, actually, I thanked you in my speech. I don't know if you heard me mention.
I heard. That was very kind.
I meant it. You know, we wouldn't have won
if the Dry Stone Wall place had showed up. Well, that's what everyone's saying.
They're not here.
Got fed up of winning, apparently. They were having to build dry stone walls just to sit all the awards on.
Well, they got the skills. Oh, that's a shame, though.
No, you deserve an award, Tom. For at least turning Plum House round just a bit. The Unsung Hero Award. Although I guess that wouldn't really work.
No, because of the... Yeah. How are you?
Oh, great, yeah. No, the British Museum is, it's going really well. Lots of responsibility, which is challenging, but good.
Yeah, well, it sounds amazing. I knew you'd love it.
Oh, I do, yeah. And I'm living in this great flat out east. It's pretty cool.
Wow, so good. Not missing Plum House even, sort of tiny bit.
Where? No, I'm joking. Seriously, though, how is the museum?
Oh, fantastic. We've really turned a corner. You know, everyone's pulling together. I mean, take today, we've left Julian in charge. I mean, Julian, can you imagine that? Back in the day. I mean, never in a million years.
Chaos guaranteed.
Yeah. But people, they're just finally listening to me, I guess, and my ideas. Oh, it's just a totally different...
Here he is, Victor Ludorum. Bottle of champagne for me, and a bottle of champagne for you.
Oh. Right, seems a little extravagant.
Hope you don't mind, but I had to get your wallet out of the cloakroom. Silly Peter's made a boo-boo and left his purse up north.
Oh, well, of course I don't mind that. Look who it is.
Now, I think I left my spectacles on the train.
You're wearing them.
It's Emma.
Oh, Emma. Yes, of course. Tom told you he loved you. You upped and bolted south. Tom had a bit of a nervous breakdown episode. Cat. Emma.
Yeah, he's joking.
No, you told me all about it when you spotted her in the crowd earlier.
No, still joking.
Oh dear, have I done a little whoopsie?
Emma, there you are. Come on, I need all the minions back at base. That photocopying won't do itself.
Yeah, good one. Just a bit of classic British Museum banter there.
What?
No, sorry. This is Tom, and this is Peter.
Yes, everyone here knows who they are. Come on, time we got back.
Bye, Tom. It was nice to see you.
Yeah, bye, Emma.
Bye.
Well, that went well.
You all right?
The champagne. Like battery acid. I ought to have known. We can't drink this stuff. No, if the Plum House lads are going to celebrate, they're going to have to do it properly. Fortunately, I know just the place. And Peter Knight is always in credit there. In fact, he never needs to buy a drink all night.
Sounds good.
Stop being so tight with the WD-40. Just chuck it all on there.
It's no good. I might have to cut you out with my oxyacetylene torch.
That won't hurt, will it?
I'm not very good at lying.
Right, I've called an ambulance.
Oh, this is going to be embarrassing. What am I going to say when they get here?
It's fine, they're not coming. They thought it was a prank call and hung up.
Unbelievable. That's my tax paying their wages. No wonder my father keeps his finances offshore.
My dad does that as well. Keeps all his cash in a dinghy moored off St. Bees Head. As he always says, the banks could collapse at any minute.
Look, this is getting us nowhere. Now, as I am technically in charge of Plum House, I demand that you get out of your wheelchair and let me have a go.
What? No chance.
Tell her, Alan.
Oh, I'm not getting involved. I don't have a suit of armour to protect me from Maureen's magazine.
Fine, but does your sister have a spare wheelchair I can borrow or something? Until I can get this thing off of me?
I've got the family wheelchair at the minute, so you'll have to find one of your own. Unless Alan can knock you one up.
I guess I do have some spare bicycle wheels in this shed.
Well, get to it then, Alan. What are you waiting for?
Can I go and finish my Ribena first?
No, you can't. I won't take him back to the gift shop first. Come on, chop chop.
Woo! What a place, eh, Tom? Old Compton Street, where the working man comes to slake his thirst.
I think he might come here for something else, Peter.
I met these great lads. Sailors from Poland, would you believe?
Yeah, lovely.
We should get more into the spirit of things, Tom. I've got a reputation to keep up round here. And we're supposed to be celebrating. Did you see how people looked at me when I burst onto the dance floor, holding my award aloft? At least look at me when I'm talking to you instead of staring at your mobile telephone.
I've just looked online. The last train home's been cancelled.
My old friend Melvin Bragg once said, this is how the best nights begin.
Peter, where are we going to stay? We think practically for once.
The lads from Gdansk are sailing to Uruguay at 6 tomorrow. We could always stow away.
No, hold on. I've got a better idea.
Sorry, the flat's a bit messy at the moment. Wasn't exactly expecting company.
We just really appreciate you letting us stay, Emma, don't we, Peter?
We sit in the corridor. This can't be a real dwelling.
Peter.
I'm in a more spacious prison cells.
When were you...
Yeah, I know the flat's a bit cosy, Peter, but London is very expensive, and at least it's in a great area.
Ah, yes, above what appeared to be a Lithuanian gambling den.
Maxim is Estonian, actually, and he's a very well-respected drug dealer in the local community.
So what is it? First dibs for the bed?
No, that's my bed, Peter. You can both sleep on the sofa there.
Where's she pointing at that tiny banquette, Thomas?
Just be grateful, please, Peter.
Fine. Is there at least somewhere I can clean my teeth before we retire for the night? I still got the taste of Tom and Jerry in my mouth.
It's a cocktail.
Right. There's a toilet at the end of the hall.
Tiptoe through the rat droppings.
What is he on about?
I'm sorry, we'll be gone in the morning, I promise. It's just the trains were cancelled.
It's fine. I was kind of hoping I'd see you again before you left anyway, Tom.
Really?
You know, if I'm being completely honest, it's not been quite as easy as I thought moving down here. It's a big change.
Yeah, well, that's understandable.
Yeah, it's been a bit tricky to adjust, actually, with the new job and everything. Get a bit lonely sometimes.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm pleased. You know, it all seems to be going...
Oh, who am I kidding? It's been a nightmare. The job's rubbish and demeaning. I've got no money, and the only friend I've made down here is an Estonian drug dealer, and he's still nicked me telly.
But Plum House hasn't been the same without you either, Emma. Honestly, it's a mess. I mean, I had to leave Julian in charge. I mean, Julian... and I've missed you so much. I'm miserable.
It's really good to hear you say that. Not about you being miserable, but, well, no, it's quite nice to hear that, but...
Well, why don't you just come back?
I've been thinking about it, I really have, but I just don't think I can give up that easily. And you never know, I mean, it might get better.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right, who's ready for bed?
Yes, I'll be there. Just actually 1 second, Peter.
It might not be wide enough for us to top and tail, Thomas. We might have to lie one on top of the other instead.
It doesn't sound ideal.
Do you feel more like a top or a bottom, Thomas?
Look, OK, fine, we can all try sleeping in the bed, but it might not...
Bagsy Peter Knight for top bunk!
Peter!
You snooze, you lose. That was actually a game we used to play at boarding school. It led to chronic insomnia and quite a high-profile court case some years later.
Look, all right, you're going to have to move up.
Oh, come on, Tom. There's plenty of room.
Yeah, but no, 3 of us have to get in here.
Yes, well, Emily can lie on the other side of us.
Emma! And actually, maybe I'll just go on the sofa. I have to be up in 5 hours anyway.
No, give it a little go. Sure it'll work. Yeah.
Lights out in Griffin House. Anyone want to swap a Capston's full strength for a cheeky peek at my copy of Charles Atlas's Male Physical Culture?
You know, this isn't going to work. Why don't you go on the banquette on your own?
Wait a minute. That's it. Of course, we can go and stay with Hugh.
Who's Hugh?
My brother. He's just back from Africa. Oh, Hugh's got a massive place in the West End. 6 bedrooms or something like
Why
that.
have you only just thought
I
of this
never really
now?
liked staying with Hugh.
Why not?
You know, I can't for the life of me remember, so it must be something minor. What do you say, Thomas? I'm sure the Route Master buses must still be running.
Well, we could... Emma's very kindly offered to let us stay here now, Peter. I don't know if it's a bit
In
rude.
a DOS house?
It's not a DOS house.
Come on, let's move on, old boy.
Well, I'm not sure if I'm ready to move on yet, Peter.
It's okay, Tom. Maybe it's for the best.
Are you sure?
No. But let's be honest, this isn't going to work. And I just want you to be happy.
Okay. But I'm really going to miss you, Emma.
Splendid. Then let's go say yoo-hoo to Brother Hugh. I'm sure he'll be delighted to see us.
I'm shattered. I'm absolutely shattered.
Oh, all right. It's not as if I slept much either.
How could you forget a thing like that?
What?
The bagpipes, the constant bagpiping.
It was fun at first.
When we arrived, the first 10 seconds, I thought it was a joke to welcome us in.
Hugh's devotion to the Scottish instrument is no laughing matter. There are those that said it cost him one of the top jobs at the Foreign Office. His constant piping at embassies, global summits, the UN. As for his poor wife, well, the coroner recorded an open verdict, but we all knew. Haunted by the drone.
I will never get the ringing out of my head.
Elizabeth's last words, I believe.
He's not even that good at playing them.
Be fair, old boy. It takes years to master the pipes. Look, he did stop around 5 or 6 anti-meridian.
Yeah, and then the plane started flying over the house. Let me say this, Peter. Heathrow is not the West End.
Oh, come. It is west of the centre.
So's Reading. I mean, does he live directly under the flight path?
I found it quite peaceful, but then we always did love the Dam Busters growing up.
I never thought I'd say this. He makes you look normal.
Hugh? Wait till you meet my other brothers.
We're now approaching our final destination. All change, please.
Look, anyway, what do you want me to say? I'm sorry we didn't stay with old What's-a-Chops.
It's all right. Look, just the next time the Trust send us an invitation to anything, just put it in the bin.
That's the spirit, old chap.
Wait, what the...
Maureen and Alan have come to meet us. Hold on. I recognise that suit of armour sat in the... What is that? Some kind of wheelchair?
God's sake.
Here, I think Peter's holding an award.
What's going on? I can't see.
Okay, what is happening here? Why are you in a suit of armour, Julian?
It was Alan's idea, really.
And what is that? Some kind of motorised wheelchair?
I used a couple of bicycle wheels, a deck chair, and the motors off of an old milk float.
Alan's really outdone himself this time. Just watch this.
Yeah, all right, Julian. It's not Brands Hatch.
Anyway, now I don't have to push Maureen around anymore. I've got Julian to tow her up the hill instead.
Bloody embarrassing, if you ask me.
I wasn't entirely happy about it either. Didn't see Stephen Hawking working as a tow truck, did you?
Well, he probably got quite a bit of money from them Specsavers adverts.
If there's one thing you're certainly not, Julian, it's a wheelchair-bound genius. And all I asked you to do was look after the museum for just 24 hours.
Listen, no, more importantly, everyone, we won the award! Yay!
Oh, right, victory donut! Oh, dear, that didn't sound good.
I think there's smoke coming from your motors, Julian.
Oh, well, it was good while it lasted. Looks like you'll be pushing us both back to Plum House this time, Alan.
No, please! No!
Oi, Alan! Come back!
Unbelievable.
Plum House was written by Ben Cottam and Paul McKenna. It starred Tom Bell, Simon Callow, Louise Ford, Jane Horrocks, Miles Jopp, Alex Lowe and Piers Quigley. It was directed by Paul Schlesinger and the producer was Claire Broughton. Plum House is a BBC Studios production.
Shenley Laboratories, producer of Penicillin Shenley and Shenley Pharmaceuticals, presents the Encore Theatre. The Encore Theatre play tonight, Disputed Passage by Lloyd C. Douglas. Our stars are Dennis O'Keefe and Hume Cronin. Tonight, Shenley Laboratories presents another in a new series of great dramatic programs, Some of our stories are fact, the struggles and accomplishments of great men of medicine. Others are fiction, stories of devotion to an ideal, individual heroism, or great courage. By these programs, Shenley Laboratories would remind you that medical science and progress are not cold, impersonal research or pages of statistics, but a warm human story told in living terms, whether it's the life of one of medicine's immortals or the everyday record of service rendered by your own physician. And listen at the close of this program for an announcement of the utmost importance about radio's newest program. Now, Disputed Passage, starring Hume Cronin as Tubby Forrester, Lorene Tuttle as Audrey, and Dennis O'Keefe as John Wesley Beavan, who tells us our story.
Whitman once wrote, "Have you learned lessons only of those who admired you, who were tender with you, and stood aside for you? Have you not learned great lessons from those who braced themselves against you and disputed the passage with you?" Somehow that explains my relations with Dr. Milton Forrester, more commonly known as Tubby, far better than I am able to put into words. I chose that medical college just because he was teaching there. Not only was he an anatomist of distinction, but a recognized authority on neurological surgery. Hundreds of practicing physicians were proud to be able to say that they had studied anatomy under Forrester. But they also usually added that Tubby was a brute and a sarcastic bully, and anything else that they could think of. No, Tubby wasn't easy, and he aimed his words like a knife thrower. I'll never forget that opening class in anatomy.
Gentlemen, you will quickly classify yourselves into the categories where, by native gift and intention, you properly belong. Only a quarter of the class will turn out to be better than average students, better than average doctors. 10% of the class, the top 10%, will have much more to offer than diligence, concentration, and honest labors. They'll have self-discipline, and it'll be, for the most part, effortless and automatic. When the job becomes important enough to warrant your membership in the fortunate 10%, the outside distractions will not worry you. And once in a blue moon, the upper 10th delivers to medical science an explorer, a discoverer, a trailblazer. Is there anyone here who will tell us someday what we want to know about cancer? Will one of you someday give us a preventive for infantile paralysis? The two important gentlemen who are to perform these feats are, if I may venture the prediction, already born. They may be students in some medical school. They may be in this room now.
Everyone in the class sat motionless, transfixed, those words shivering down each individual spine. They were meant to kindle a fire, and they did. That was Tubby at his most inspirational. A moment or two later, I had a chance to see him at his most sarcastic.
And now we'll call the roll. On this occasion, you'll stand when your name is spoken so that I may identify you. John Wesley Beavan. Kindly arise, John Wesley, wherever you are, and let the congregation see you.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. I observed by your registration form, John Wesley Beavan, that the first college you attended is a righteous little institution engaged chiefly in the manufacture and disbursement of preachers. Tell me, is it your belief, Mr. Beavan, that on the last day the trumpet shall sound and the dead shall be raised incorruptible?
Well, sir, it's a theory that hasn't been disproved yet.
When you write home to your pastor, tell him I'd like to discuss that with him sometime.
I don't think he'd be interested, sir.
What? Not interested in defending his beliefs?
Not interested in any discussion of theology that came from a professor of anatomy.
Ah. Thank you, Brother Beavan. Perhaps you'd do better if you stuck to your rhetoric. You may find anatomy difficult. We'll see. You may sit down now.
Sometimes he was biting, sometimes unbelievably courteous. Sometimes he was angry, sometimes flaming. Always he was a challenge. He liked to keep you fencing. He'd dart to any side of an argument just to see if you'd kept your wits about you. At Christmas, most of the students went home, but I had no place to go except my sister's, and she lived too far away. At 4 o'clock on Christmas Day, I was in the lab working over a drawing of some mussels when Tubby walked in.
Nice way for a pious young Christian to be spending Christmas Day. I should have thought you might be playing Santa Claus at some Sunday school festivity.
No one would have me. Not Tubby enough.
May I venture to inquire what you think you're doing? We passed this drawing some days ago.
Oh, yes, sir, I know. I was just curious about it.
Why?
Well, as far as I can see, the nerves in control of these non-functioning muscles are of the same structure and caliber of those of the frontalis. Why haven't they atrophied?
I see you're interested in nerves. Why?
I couldn't explain, sir. They just interest me. Would you be good enough to tell me, sir, what I want to know about this one?
No, I won't tell you.
Pardon me.
I won't tell you because I don't know.
Well, then I suppose nobody knows.
Are you trying to say something smart, young man?
No, sir. I never was more honest in my life. I think that if you don't know, it's very unlikely that anybody else does.
Oh. You through with that thing for a while?
Well, I can stop, sir, if I
have to make a call. You might come along and have dinner with me as long as you've got nothing better to do.
Well, thank you, sir. That's very kind of you. We spent the evening talking about science. He was as gruff as ever, but somehow that gruffness didn't fool me anymore. Underneath, there was gentleness and a sort of kindness. However, he wasn't gentle as far as I was concerned. He was merciless in his demands, and the way he found fault with everything I did, I was sure he had a little use for me. In class, we were always crossing sabers, and Tubby would goad me into an argument every chance he got. Now, I know I learned by those arguments, but at the time, they certainly rankled. And at last, after eternities filled with charts, examinations, microscopes, and lectures, we were ready for graduation. On a day after the mid-semester recess at a meeting of the senior class, Tubby got up to read the list of internships. He started by deploring the fact that the university hospital could not hold a very large number.
That concludes the list of interns. As for the special appointments, only 2 are being made this year. Mr. Thomas, whose work in blood and skin has shown great promise, will be invited to serve as student assistant to Dr. Meeker. And now, the other appointment. This, I think, may be somewhat in the nature of a surprise. If anyone ever tells you that these special appointments of the medical college are based upon personal favoritism or withheld because of private prejudice, this should end such thoughts forever. I am asking Brother Bevan to hold forth in my own laboratory through this coming year and serve as my private chaplain. All right. That's enough. All right. Do you accept, Brother Bevan?
Oh, I shall do my best, sir. I too believe that the ship is more than the crew.
You mean you don't have to like the captain in order to obey him?
That's what I mean, sir.
Gentlemen, this is a good example of the scientific spirit. That'll be all. You're at liberty.
And so Tubby and I went to work together. By the end of our 3rd year of association, he not only had let me perform some of the operations for class observation, he had taken time off to lecture abroad and left me in charge of the class during his absence. Immediately after his return, he sent for me.
I understand your work's been adequate while I've been gone.
Thank you, sir.
We're getting a case from upstate tomorrow that promises to be interesting. It's referred to us by Dr. William Cunningham. Patient's a 5-year-old boy. My reason for calling you in on this case is because I've just had my lenses changed and I'm not quite accommodated to the correction.
Yes, sir.
The child's aunt is bringing him down. She's Chinese, I believe. Her name's Lan Ying.
Lan Ying. A lovely, fragile name that meant English orphan. I wondered what she was like, and since I had some instructions for her nephew, I phoned and asked her if I might come up for a moment. And so we met. In the hallway of the Livingstone Hotel. And there might have been a mountain in China, or any other of the world's most romantic places.
Hello, Dr. Bevan. Won't you come in?
I'll never forget how she looked that first day. She was dressed in a black oriental jacket and trousers. And her face was the face I had searched my dreams to find.
Sit down, Dr. Bevan. You aren't going to stand there staring at me all day, are you?
I beg your pardon, but, well, you see, I had heard you were Chinese.
By heredity and birth, I'm completely American. My name is Audrey. But by environment and background, I am Chinese. I was born in Hong Kong, Doctor. My mother died in childbirth. I was taken in by a wealthy Chinese merchant and his family.
Your father?
They knew my father well. He died soon after my birth, and so Sen Ming and his family raised me as their own. Oh, I'm sorry. I've talked your head off.
Oh, no, really, I'm very interested.
Oh, excuse me. Hello? Yes, he's here. Just a moment. It's for you, Dr. Bevan.
Oh, thanks. Hello? Yes. Yes, I understand it's an emergency. What's your temperature? Pulse? I'll be right there. Bye. I'm afraid that...
Yes, I heard.
Look, I want to hear some more about China, and I must talk to you about our patient, so... Well, how about having dinner with me tonight?
I'd love to.
I don't know what we ate. I don't know what we talked about. I couldn't tell you how we got to the dining room or when we decided to ride along the shore. All I remember is that her eyes were like no other eyes, and her hair was like no other hair. And she was like no other woman that had ever lived before or ever would again. And I remember that somewhere along the way, I stopped the car and kissed her. I suppose I should say I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Please don't. It would be very insulting. Even if we never meet again. That kiss will be something very nice to remember.
I've never really gone with a girl. I guess I just haven't had much time for them. I never thought anything like this would happen to me.
Nothing has happened to you.
No, you're wrong, darling. You've happened.
In just a moment, we will continue with Disputed Passage. But now we have an important message for you from Shenley Laboratories, producer of Penicillin Shenley. Most of us are familiar with the miraculous results achieved from the use of penicillin in combating serious infection. But did you know that penicillin is now used to prevent infections as well? In cases of minor surgery, for instance, your doctor may administer penicillin in any one of several forms to prevent secondary infections. Naturally, increased uses for penicillin impose a demand for increased quantities. Shenley Laboratories is geared to do its part in meeting that demand. In addition to penicillin in its original form, Shenley has now developed such pharmaceuticals as penicillin tablets and troches for administration by mouth, as well as penicillin ointment and ophthalmic ointment. As one of the world's largest users of research on mold and fermentation processes, from which penicillin and other antibiotics are derived, Shenley Laboratories has dedicated itself to a continuing program of investigation and study. It is our sincere hope and aim that this research program will result in the production of new and ever greater healing aids to place at the disposal of doctors everywhere. And now, the second act of Disputed Passage, starring Dennis O'Keefe, Hume Cronin, and Lorene Tuttle.
I saw Audrey often through the months that followed. Either she came in for visits with Dr. Cunningham and his wife, or I went to visit them. For the first time in my life, I was enjoying every moment I was living. It must have been January when I got interested in the Buckley child. Dr. Forrester had operated on her, and she was recovering satisfactorily, except that her morale was bad. I did a little inquiring, and I sent for her father.
Hi, Doc. How's tricks?
You Thomas Buckley?
That's me, in the flesh.
Sit down.
What do you want to see me about?
The nurses tell me that you're making Martha unhappy by sitting next to her bed most of the afternoon, criticizing everything that goes on in the hospital. Is that right?
It might be. I'll try not to let it happen again. Can I go now?
What do you live on, Buckley?
Well, my wife makes little pot holders. I peddle them.
Mm-hmm. Where do you live?
Up at the edge of town. A few cheap little houses up there, just this side of the reservoir.
Were you living there when Martha took sick?
Yeah.
What sort of a neighborhood is it? The ambulance got stuck in the mud, had to be hauled out. There was another case of polio brought in from that district yesterday.
No, Doc. Doc, that's not what ails the Collins girl. No, Doc, she'd had the flu and they were afraid of pneumonia. If they say she has infantile paralysis, they're crazy.
What's the matter with you, Buckley?
Nothing, Doc.
Come on, Buckley, don't be evasive. You're withholding something. And I'm going to find out what it is before you leave here.
Okay, Doc. You don't have to get rough about it. But if you squeal, you'll wish you hadn't. Now, this is what happened. There wasn't any water in our houses, and the old hog who owned them wouldn't pipe it in. So this fellow Billis said we'd do our own plumbing.
You mean you tapped into a water main?
Yeah. It wasn't much of a trick.
Just your house and Billows?
No, 4. Collins and another fellow did the digging, so I let them in on it, too.
Uh-huh. When you heard about the diagnosis of the Collins child, you began to make deductions. You think it's in the water. I suppose you tapped into the main between the reservoir and the filtration plant, right?
Yeah.
Well, the whole affair will have to be investigated promptly and thoroughly.
It can't be. There's more to it than that. This Billis fellow just got through serving a prison term, and he ain't going to be run in again without making somebody pay for it.
Well, I don't know that it's that serious.
Billis stole that pipe over in Wheaton. He had something on a fella in Wheaton named Rusty who owned a truck, and he made him haul the pipe here. You start something that exposes Billis, and he'll squeal on Rusty. Then you and me will both be taken for a ride. You better tend to your own business, Doc.
But this is my business, Buckley. The result of this investigation could be of tremendous significance. Now, look, Buckley, come on. What do you say? Let's go have a steak and talk it over. I fed Buckley a steak, persuaded him that I would have to notify the health officer, and took him home. And then I went to meet Audrey. We sat in the hotel lobby talking, and my little universe rocked, and all the promises I had made myself about never falling in love dissolved and left me weak-kneed and about as coherent as a schoolboy.
You're unusually quiet tonight. You haven't said half a dozen words.
Oh, I've been thinking.
It must be something very serious, the way you've been scowling.
I've been trying to think of some very original way to say, Miss Hilton, I adore you. Will you marry me?
That's quite nice enough to accept, just as it is.
Oh, darling, you mean you would? Oh, no, you couldn't. You must be... Oh, but I'm not half good enough. But if you would, I...
Darling, of course I would, and I will. Thank you for asking.
Looking back on that night now, it still seems like a jigsaw with none of the pieces fitting. Right after I left Audrey, Chubby came to see her.
Yes?
I'm Dr. Forrester.
Oh, I've heard Dr. Bevan speak of you often. Come in.
I wanted to talk to you about Jack Bevan.
Of course. Won't you sit down?
Thank you. I'll come to the point immediately. I've come to you to appeal to you. I want you to give Bevan up. Ever since he's known you, his mind's been divided. His work's slipping. He's losing ground.
Oh, surely not.
You think he loves you. Perhaps he does. But he loved his career for a long time before he loved you.
I love him. I wouldn't interfere in his career. I'd be very proud of it.
Unless he's completely alone, he can't give his best to science.
But what you ask is impossible. Tonight I promised to be his wife.
Well, I don't know how much you love him, but you seem to me the kind of girl who could never be happy knowing that she was keeping the man she loved from his best accomplishment.
There's no answer to that. There's no answer to that. Hello?
This is the hospital calling. Is Dr. Forrester there?
Just a moment.
Forrester speaking.
We just had a very strange telephone call from Wheaton, Dr. Forrester. A man called up and said that Dr. Bevan had been summoned out there on some pretext and had been in a fight.
A fight?
Yes.
Just a minute. Miss, give me a pencil and paper, quick.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Where is he?
In a deserted farmhouse about 7 miles west of here. Turn left at Larson's Dairy Farm. Your lights will show you where cars have turned around. Go in the back door. Is there anything we can do, sir?
No, nothing. But get a room ready and wait for further instructions.
I'm going with you.
No, you can't. I don't need you.
He may need me.
I can take care of him.
I'm sure you can. And I'm going to take care of you.
Tell me. What are you going to do about him?
Whatever you say, Dr. Forrester. Because you've admired and loved him even longer than I have.
Hold this flashlight on his face, please. That's right. Steady now.
Will you want hot water? I could try and find a stove.
No, I'm not doing anything now but a simple bandage. There's a very serious concussion here.
Will he... Is he going to die?
I hope not. Look, I'll have to drive down the road to telephone for an ambulance. Will you be afraid to stay here alone?
Yes. But I wouldn't do anything else. If he wakes up, is there anything I can do for him?
He won't wake up. Not until that pressure's lifted. And only then, if God's with us. I'll leave you the flashlight.
No. You'll never find your way back to the car.
I don't like to leave you here alone in the dark.
He's alone in the dark.
I'll get back as fast as I can.
Afterward, Audrey was never quite sure when it was that she first knew that someone else had come in that room. Perhaps it was the sound of breathing. Perhaps instinct. But suddenly she stood, a chill fear darting through her and her heart racing. At last she spoke.
Who's in this room?
It's me, Thomas Buckley.
What are you doing here?
I came back. Doc was good to me. He gave me a steak lunch. I didn't want to leave him to die.
Are you one of the men responsible for this?
No. It was Billers and Rusty. They brought me out here to get me out of the way so I couldn't testify against them. I got away about 5 miles down the road and telephoned Dr. Forrester. I've been all this time walking back.
Oh. When Dr. Bevan hears of this, he'll be glad to have had such a good friend.
The ambulance will be here in about 15 minutes. Have to operate as soon as I can get him to the hospital. All right. That's all. Wheel him out. That's the most that surgery can do for him.
Was the operation a success?
It was a surgical success. We won't know yet for several hours whether he'll pull out of it. I'll get you a room. You'd better get some sleep.
No, I'll wait with you. The sun is coming up.
Yes. Oh.
He's moving.
Oh.
Does that mean anything?
Yes. Yes, he's recovering consciousness.
Oh, Dr. Forrester.
Here. Let's not have you fainting now when everything's all right.
He will be all right.
Yes.
Then I will go as I promised.
No, you're not to go. You're not to go, do you hear me? He needs you. He needs someone to work with him, to help him.
You really mean you want me to stay now? You don't want me to leave him, really?
My dear, forgive an old man a very human mistake. I thought he'd be better alone. But any man must be more inspired with a woman like you beside him.
Dr. Tubby Forrester, I love you very much.
Hey, what's going on? Close my eyes for a minute and I find you...
Darling. Oh, darling, how do you feel?
Oh, pretty good. What did you do, Tubby? Look inside my head to find out what was in it?
Something like that.
Thanks. Tell me, we haven't gotten along too well.
What do you mean? What do you mean we haven't gotten along too well? Quite better than any two people I've ever known. Man needs a good sparring partner.
Okay. I just wanted to say thanks for everything.
You're welcome. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'll get on down the hall. I've got some sick patients to look at. You're a convalescent now.
See you later.
And keep absolutely quiet. If you pull any of those stitches, I'll bash your head in.
Whatever you say, Doctor.
Somehow I think this quarrel is over. I don't think you two are going to dispute the passage anymore.
He's a great man, Audrey. And a great doctor.
You're two of a kind, darling.
No, Audrey, you may be prejudiced. But I love you for it. Come here for a minute, will you? Kind of get in the kissing range?
Whatever you say, Doctor.
In a moment, we'll bring Dennis O'Keefe back to this microphone. But first, may we leave this thought with you. Unlike most of us, a doctor can never forget business completely. Even when your physician is enjoying an evening away from home, he has previously left word as to where he may be reached in case of emergency. Yes, doctors are on call any hour of the day or night, and they're noted for responding to that call always. Shenley Laboratories salutes in this series of programs the spirit of constant service to mankind which characterizes the medical profession. Now, here's the big announcement we told you about earlier in the program. Commencing next week at the same time, Shenley's Cresta Blanca Wines will bring you the most exciting new dramatic program to come from Hollywood in many years. It's the Hollywood Players Company, which consists of such top-flight stars as Claudette Colbert, Betty Davis, Joan Fontaine, John Garfield, Paulette Goddard, Gene Kelly, and Gregory Peck. One of these great stars each week in a great story which has been picked for your radio enjoyment. Tune in next Tuesday night for the grand premiere when Claudette Colbert, Betty Davis, Joan Fontaine, John Garfield, Paulette Goddard, Gene Kelly, and Gregory Peck will all be here to tell you about their own company, Cresta Blanca's Hollywood Players, radio's freshest dramatic idea in years. Betty Davis will have that outstanding English actor, Rex Harrison, who has just scored such an outstanding success in Anna and the King of Siam, as her guest co-star in the Hollywood Players premiere program entitled The Small Servant. All the stars will be here next Tuesday night to tell you of their plans for the Hollywood Players' first season on the air. Don't miss it. And now, here's Dennis O'Keefe.
With this, the last broadcast of our present series for Penicillin Shenley, Shenley Laboratories extends its appreciation to those who made this program possible. The men whose lives reflect the spirit of devotion and service to mankind, which has been our dramatic theme. Once again tonight, Shenley Laboratories salutes America's men and women in white and proffers the hope that their dedication to the ideal of helping humanity may serve as a model for all of us who are now trying to build a better world.
This feuded passage was produced and directed by Bill Lawrence and was presented through the courtesy of the author, Lloyd C. Douglas. It was a Gene Holloway adaptation. Dennis O'Keefe is now co-starring with Hedy Lamarr in the Hunt Stromberg production, Dishonored Lady. Hume Cronin appeared through the courtesy of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of the Technicolor musical Holiday in Mexico. This is Frank Graham speaking for Shenley Laboratories, producer of Penicillin Shenley, and inviting you to listen next Tuesday at the same time to the premiere broadcast of Cresta Blanca's new series, The Hollywood Players, radio's outstanding company of stars, inaugurating a season of great stars in great stories for your enjoyment. Next week, the first broadcast will star Betty Davis and Rex Harrison. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Times do I have to tell you that you're the person that I adore. How many times do I have to tell you and not repeat what I've said before? How many ways can I say I miss you and skip the ever-familiar rhymes? How many times do I have to kiss you? Don't make it less than 1,000,000 times. I've said over and over and over and over again that you are my one obsession. But I'd be willing to say it again and again if I thought it would make an impression. How many dreams do I have to sell you to make the one in my heart come true? How many times do I have to tell you before you know I'm in love with you? How many dreams do I have to sell you to make the one in my heart come true? How many times do I have to tell you before you know I'm in love with you?
This is Orson Welles, speaking from London. The Black Museum. A museum of death. Yes, here in the grim stone structure on the Thames, which houses Scotland Yard, is a warehouse of homicide, where everyday objects, a fountain pen, a cufflink, a high-heeled shoe, all are touched by murder. Now here's a scarf, torn and ragged, the faded tartan, a cheap reproduction of the honorable colors of the Stuarts, red with green, blue crossings, and a double-over check of white and yellow. This scarf belonged to Walter Hoffman Piewski, known to the police and his friends in the underworld as the Pike.
There's no doubt about this scarf being his property, Superintendent. He was wearing it when he was sent to Dartmoor 10 years ago.
The description tallies, does it?
Exactly. It's all written down in the prison property book, even to the patch on it.
So the Pike's our man. Right, well, get him.
And get him they did. And all because of a scarf, appropriately known in Cockney circles as a choker. The Pike applied his choker to a human throat, the throat of the driver of a post office van. The Pike pulled the choker too hard. It was instrumental in convicting him of murder. And that's why it's earned its place here in the Black Museum.
From the annals of the Criminal Investigation Department of the London Police, we bring you the dramatic stories of the crimes recorded by the objects in Scotland Yard's Gallery of Death, the Black Museum. In just a moment, you will hear The Black Museum, starring Orson Welles. The Black Museum, starring Orson Welles.
Well, here we are in the Black Museum. Beyond these grey walls, the mighty roar of London never stops. But in here, it's quiet. Come with me under the frieze of death masks, the masks of criminals of bygone days, suspended grimly under the ceiling. Come. To our right and left, rows of murder exhibits, each one carefully labeled. That cut-glass scent spray is attractive even now. Might even take its place on Madame's dressing table, till we stop and read the label written under it. Yes, it's been used to spray anesthetic over the faces of helpless women as a prelude to murder. No sickly aroma now, as we squeeze the bulb. Except for its grim associations, the fragile exhibit is insignificant, easily broken. But it was strong enough to hang the man who used it. There's a brass candlestick. Over there, a taper to go with it. Ah, here we are. Here's what we're looking for. The faded tartan scarf. As I take it out of the showcase, I ask you to come with me back to the time when this scarf was new, 15 years ago. Walter Pievsky bought it from a stallholder in one of London's famous street markets, Petticoat Lane.
Yes, sir. We'll take one of the scarves, mister.
Right, sir. Finest worsted woven. What's your clan? Campbell's, Cameron's, MacDonald or MacLeod? All genuine tartan today down from the islands.
All right. I've bought it already. Don't need to give me that stuff. I'll take this one.
It's the Stuart, and better than that you cannot do. Not half a nicker, not 5 bob, half a crown, and cheap at the price. Thank you very much. Come and get your Scotch chokers from Honest John Mackay. If your neck's warm...
While Honest John continued his honest trade, the pike went about his own particular business. It was less exhausting than John's, and it was worked from a public call box. In professional circles, they called it the hospital trick.
Hello?
Is that Mrs. Peterson speaking?
Yes, who's that?
The London Hospital here, Mrs. Peterson.
Hospital? Why, what's happened?
Oh, there's no need for immediate alarm, but I'm sorry to say that your husband has met with a serious accident.
Oh, Bill? Is he hurt? Oh, no, what's happened?
He was knocked down by a bus in the Whitechapel Road about half an hour ago.
A mean, crude trick. But more often than not, it worked. While the stricken woman hurried to the hospital to find the husband, who of course was not hurt at all, the pike would visit her house. With the coast clear, he would help himself to whatever he could lay his hands on and get out before the bewildered woman returned. And you notice that the pike could almost camouflage that accent he had. This gift gave him a confidence which was almost his undoing. One time when he and some friends were removing the entire contents of a house while the owners were away on holiday.
What about the piano, Pike? Do we take that? Of course we take everything. Who'd think of moving out and leaving the piano behind, eh?
You'll get us blooming well, won't you, Will? Okay, boys, piano next.
Oh, crikey, the phone. Here, what do we do about that? Let it ring, I suppose. No. Maybe it's someone seen the van outside and checking up. I'd better answer it. Here, go easy, Don't worry, Ed. I know my job, don't I? Oh, yeah. Hello?
Is that Mr. Wilson?
No, I'm awfully sorry. He won't be back until about 7 o'clock. I'm his brother-in-law. Can I help you?
If your sister's there...
Oh, Julie's just gone out for half an hour. Can I take a message?
Yes, I think you can. I'm her brother. Who the blazes are you?
Quick, boys. Let's get out of here.
Roll out.
So the piano was left behind after all. But Pike got away with most of the household belongings and observed, not only were his operations becoming bolder, but he had planned his action carefully. He even knew that Mrs. Wilson's first name was Julie, but he didn't know she had a brother. That must have shaken him, because from then on he changed his tactics. The Pike entered the motor racket, a racket which was to take him in turn from Dartmoor prison to the scaffold. But in his early days as a motor thief, There was still a trace of strange humor about his work. The padlocked car was a case in point.
Who's that? Okay, Eddie, it's only me. You wouldn't go reaching for a gun when Pikey walks in on you. Oh, no. I'm sorry, Pike. It's me nerves. Well, relax. Now, listen to me. I've got a job for you. No, I'm laying off for a bit. Okay, well, who pays the rent? Oh, I'm only going in for the small stuff. Well, this is a small job I'm offering you. What is it, busting into the Bank of England, eh? No. It's a simple matter of knocking off a nice new motor. Well, what's the dope? Well, it's this way. The car belongs to a fellow named Lambert who lives at 14 Graysdyke Crescent. See? He can't get it into the garage beside the house on account of it being too big. Why didn't the mug measure it before he bought it? Well, that's not our concern. He locks the car up at night, and I've obtained a duplicate set of keys. Oh, nice work, nice work. Yeah, what do you want me in on the job for? You can do it yourself. Oh, there is a little complication. Oh, I thought there would be. This fellow Lambert is like a mother with a child over this car. He fixes it to a lamppost every night with 2 big padlocks and a double chain. Wonder he doesn't put a nappy on it, too. What do we do? Take the lamppost as well as the car? And before I tell you, are you in with me? All right, Pike. I'm in. Then listen to what I tell you.
In the early hours of the following morning, the Pike and his assistant went along to Graysdyke Crescent, and there, sure enough, chained to the lamppost outside number 14, was a fine new motor car, its cellulose and chromium work glinting invitingly under the lamplight.
Smash on it, eh? What did I tell you? We can clean up 450 on this, and all we've got to do is to remove the back wheel, which is chained to the lamppost. We put on the spare and we're away. Okay, Pike. Let's get cracking.
The offending wheel was removed from the axle and left, still chained, to the lamppost. And by the light of the helpful rays from above, the spare wheel was bolted on, the tools were replaced in the boot, and the 2 men climbed into the car.
I hope that ignition key of yours works, Pike. Of course it works. I tried it out last night. Ah, good for you. And here we go. I told you it was going to be easy, didn't I, Ed? It's money for old rope. You're a good one, you are, Pike. Just let me know when you need any more help. I'm your man.
Walter Pievsky pulled his tartan scarf snugly around his throat and agreed that he would certainly keep his assistant in mind. The car itself was taken to a garage, where its numbers and appearance were carefully changed and, in due course, found its way by devious routes back to the open market. The Pike, of course, had to split the profits which hurt him, so on his next job, he decided to work alone. And it was the next job which put him on the long, long walk which was to finish on the scaffold.
Now, what's the number of that garage? Here it is, I've got it. If this works, Pike, my lad, you're in the money. But it all depends on how good I can sound on the phone. I'll copy my father's voice, rest his soul. Here we go.
Green's Motors, good evening.
Hello? Brins?
Yes, sir. Can I help you?
My name is Maurice Bluet of 17 Granford Court.
Oh, yes, sir. I know. The big block of flats in Collerton Drive.
That's right. I am staying here with a friend, Major General Lewis.
Oh, yes, sir.
He tells me that you have a new Rolls Coupe in your showroom.
Yes, sir. Indeed we have.
Yes, well, I'm anxious to take such a car back to the continent with me, but time is pressing.
Are you at 17 Granford Court now, sir?
Yes, if someone could bring round the car, I should like to see it.
Right, I'll be with you in a quarter of an hour, sir.
Are you sure that is not too much trouble?
Oh, no trouble at all, sir. Thank you very much for ringing.
Thank you. I should be waiting for you.
15 minutes later, the car drove up to the block of flats. The driver salesman got out and went inside. Entering the lift, he went up to the 3rd floor and knocked on the door of number 17. Needless to say, the occupier had never heard of either Maurice Bluet or Major General Lewis. But while the questions and explanations sorted themselves out, Walter Pievsky was already driving the luxury car toward the garage where practiced hands were waiting to completely change its identity. First, what the Pike did not know was that he had provided the police with a vital clue that was to lead him first to prison and then, by reason of the tartan scarf, to the gallows. But the scarf was yet to earn its place, of course, among these strange exhibits here in the Black Museum.
In just a moment, we will continue with The Black Museum, starring Orson Welles. And now we continue with The Black Museum, starring Orson Welles.
We return to Walter Piewski, known as the Pike, elated at the success of his confident scar trick. He made a handsome profit on the rolls, and despite the fact that the police subsequently traced it, they never traced the theft back to the Pike, not until he tried the same operation again. Certainly he changed the district, but, as is so often the case with a regular criminal, he develops regular habits, and the routine served up to the local garage was almost exactly as before.
Yes, I'm staying with Sir Leslie, and he tells me you've got that straight 8 in the showroom. I'm most anxious to take a car back to the continent with me, but time is pressing, and you see...
Delighted to bring the car round to you right away, sir, if that's convenient.
If you're sure that it's not too much trouble.
No trouble at all, sir. I'll be with you in 10 minutes.
Oh, that is most kind. Thank you. Excellent.
But you wouldn't think it was so excellent from your point of view if you knew what was happening at the garage, Pike.
Hello, give me the police. Is that Scotland Yard?
Yes, information room.
Listen, my name is Slater. I run a garage, Carlsbrook Street, North 1.
Yes, sir.
A few weeks ago, the local police warned me about a car thief who worked a telephone trick, asking salesmen to take cars round to fake addresses for inspection.
He just rung you, has he, Mr. Slater?
Yeah. It might be him, or it might be genuine. But he asked me to take a car round to 21 Golston Court, Cannemar Street.
On the advice of Scotland Yard, Mr. Slater took the car to Golston Court. To make it easier for the thief, he left the doors unlocked and went into the building. When he was safely inside, the Pike left his telephone box and walked smartly over to the waiting motor. There were just 2 things he didn't know. First, an ignition wire had been snipped, and second, he was being watched. She'll never start until that broken wire is mended, Pike. You're wasting your time. You're going to waste a lot more time, too. 7 years, to be exact.
Hello, sir. You having a bit of starting trouble?
Oh, hello, officer. Yes, I don't know what's happened here.
I'm used to this sort of thing, so is the other constable here.
Oh, there's 2 of you.
There's a lot more at the end of the road. Suppose you hop out of that and let us see whether we can't get the car going for you.
No, I can manage.
All the same, you might let us have a go for you.
Okay.
That's the idea. Are you the owner of this car? Hold him, George. He's got a knuckle duster.
Let me go, you swamp!
No, you don't.
Oh, God. Put the bracelets on him, quick.
You all right, 71?
Oh.
How is he?
Looks as if his jaw's broken, Inspector.
Right. Take this man to the station. What's his name?
I'm choking.
Very well. I'm charging you with grievous bodily harm and resisting arrest for the attempted theft of this vehicle. There may be further charges.
There were further charges, including the theft of the big rolls. Walter Piewski, alias the Pike, had played the same game once too often, and a search of his flat in the East End produced more evidence of his varied career in crime. The police had been waiting for him to make his first mistake. This time he'd done it. At the Old Bailey, he pleaded guilty to over 100 crimes, and there were hundreds more with which he was never charged. He was sent to prison for 7 years. And immediately on his reception, his personal belongings were entered in the property book. And he was wearing the tartan scarf, which later was to hang him.
Sylviette, grey, 7.5. Collar, 16, brown. One scarf, red background, green and blue stripes, white and yellow overcheck.
The Clan Stewart.
How do you know that, Peevski?
The fellow I bought it from in Petticoat Lane told me.
I'll take his word for it. Oh, there's a small tear, 5 inches from one corner. Been roughly patched. Better put that down.
Don't worry, boys. I won't accuse you of doing it.
Don't you worry. I'll be retired by then. 1 pair leather gloves, size 8. 1 pair black socks, 10. Brown shoes, neat.
The tartan scarf had been duly entered, and little did the retiring prison officer dream that his hastily scribbled details were to be subsequently brought up as key evidence in a murder trial. But Pievsky signed the list of his personal property, and for the next 7 years he was a guest of His Majesty's government in the most famous prison in England, Dartmoor. But in 1946, justice had run its course. The Pike was given back his personal property, which included the tartan scarf, of course, all duly signed for, and so he was released upon a battle-scarred London. Time passed, and he added to his lawful wages by meager pickings from the black market. And more time passed, until one day the inspiration came to him like a bolt from the blue. He mulled it over in his mind. He carried out the research, and not until the plans were cut and dried did he put Ed Javison in the picture.
This is it. This is going to be the clean-up, Eddie. Yeah, what is it, Pike? We're going to stick up a post office van, see? A post office van? I've been standing in for a chap selling papers right outside a big post office in the West End. Every night I watched the mailbags coming out and going into the vans around 6 o'clock. Well, the other night I hired a car and followed one. It cut through Preston Mews to Park Lane. Yeah, did you say you hired a car? Yes, what about it?
Never mind. Go on.
Well, I had it out 3 nights and I found the vans don't change their route. It's the Mews every time. Cuts off a bit of traffic, you see?
Yeah, go on.
Now, the Mews are very dark. Badly bombed and no residents that I could see.
Yeah, I'll get it, yeah.
All we have to do is get a fast car and wait there until the last van comes through.
Yeah, how many are there?
Only 2. We draw our car out in the path of the second one, as if we were going to back into the garage, see?
Yeah.
The van stops.
Yeah.
We fix the 2 men in it, fill up our car from the back, and bring the stuff back here to sort.
To sort? Oh, I like that. Yes. Here we can bring it through the back way. When do we do it?
Well, I think our most profitable haul will be tonight, Friday.
But what about a car?
Oh, you can leave that to me.
And Walter Pievsky ran true to form. He wanted a fast car in a hurry. He applied the methods he knew. He worked the telephone trick on a young and trusting motor salesman who duly delivered a shining, high-powered limousine to a block of flats. As he disappeared into the entrance full of expectation, the Pike drove off rapidly to Preston Mews, where his partner was waiting for him. The timing was perfect. As the car stopped, the first post office van was already approaching.
Here, keep your head down, Ed. Here it comes. The second one won't be more than a minute or so behind. We must turn the car broadside onto it.
How did you get this bad?
I'll tell you later. It's hand-picked, see? Plenty of room in the back for the luggage. There we are. Nothing can get by now.
What happens if something tries to get through before the van arrives?
Well, we make way for it. It can come back another night if necessary. Here, what's this?
It's the van. We're going to be all right.
Nobody about. Couldn't be better. Now, get out.
Yeah?
Keep your chin tucked into your scarf like me.
Righto.
Pretend to be pushing the car.
Right.
What's up, Conktown?
Oh,
afraid so. Could you give us a push?
Sorry, mustn't leave the van.
Oh. Well, look, in that case, one of you'd like to earn yourselves 10 bob, eh? If you could ring this number for us when you get to your own destination, it's my garage.
I'd log 'em and send a breakdown for you, eh?
That's the idea.
Oh, I don't mind doing that for you. I'll do it for nothing.
Oh, thanks, Sam. You're very kind. If you got a pencil, I'll jot down my name. It's rather a difficult one.
Yeah, here's a pencil. Oh, help! Dirty thieves! Oh, that's got the both of them.
Good. We'll start getting the bags out, quick.
No, you don't.
I'll set you up, you snivelling idiot.
I'm choking. This scarf's choking me.
Here, quick with the bags, Ed.
Oh, no, here they come. I'm going. You'll swing for the... Start getting the stuff in the car.
Okay.
Oh, I reckon that's about as much as we can take. Here. Oh, what's happened to the driver?
Oh, don't worry about him. Get moving.
Here, look at his tongue. His eyes. You've killed him.
Stop talking. Get on with the job.
There's a car coming. They've got us in their headlights. It's the cops.
Well, let's get out of here. Oh, tight on the corner.
Keep going, they're after us. Oh, watch the traffic lights. They're red. Something's coming.
Oh, we got through.
Oh, I thought we'd had it. Oh, the police car's held up by the other car.
We'll get away. We're going to make it.
Put them in! Slow up, we can't get round!
Ed Javison died in that crash, so mutilated that his body could not be identified. By some miracle, the Pike escaped and staggered away into the shadows. But his tartan scarf was still round the throat of his victim, lying in the mews. Now let Superintendent Brandreth take up the story of the hunt.
Well, the hunt was soon over. In fact, as soon as the car was reported stolen, I had a call from one of my inspectors.
I thought you'd like to see this.
What is it, Harrison? Oh, stolen car. Well?
Well, I've checked with criminal records, sir. There was something familiar about the method. Calling up a garage and getting the salesman to deliver the car to a block of flats. Now, here's the list of men who practiced that. Now, these two are inside at present.
Yes?
This one's going straight. Well, he's out of London anyway.
That leaves this one, Walter Pievsky.
Yes, sir. The Pike.
Know where to find him?
Yeah, he's sharing a place with a man named Javison in the East End.
Right. Bring him in.
Yes, sir.
But before the Pike was picked up for questioning about the car, his scarf was
Immediately recognized as the one which we believe Pievsky had stolen. In theory, the evidence against him was already piling up. If he was the car thief, he was probably the murderer as well. But I needed that extra piece of evidence. I called for everything that was known about him, including the list of his personal property which he had signed in prison. It was a shot in the dark, but it yielded results.
There's no doubt about the scarf being his property, Superintendent, even to the patch on it.
Within 24 hours, the Pike was caught. Still dazed by the car crash, he offered no resistance. In due course, he was convicted of the murder of William Price, the driver of the post office van. And at 8 o'clock, one cold morning in February, he was hanged. All because of this tartan scarf, which has earned its place today in the Black Museum.
Orson Welles will be back with you in just a moment. Now here in person is Orson Welles.
Under English law, there are no degrees of murder, and the death sentence has to be pronounced on a man or woman convicted of the crime. Recommendations to mercy by the jury are always carefully considered. But in the case of Walter H. Pievsky, no such recommendation was made. The evidence against him was unshakable, and on the eve of his execution he reproached himself bitterly, not for the death of his victim, or even his unfortunate partner, but for two other reasons. The supreme crime of murder had brought him no profit, and as his last hour approached, he became increasingly angry at his own forgetfulness. Oh yes, they usually overlook something. And that's why the faded piece of tartan has earned its place here among the other exhibits in the Black Museum. Now, until we meet again in the same place for another story about the Black Museum, I remain, as always, obediently yours.
The Black Museum, starring Orson Welles, is presented by arrangement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Radio Attractions, with original music composed and conducted by Sidney Torch, produced by Harry Allen Towers.
When Johnny Jones was serenading Mary, he sure could quote a lot of poetry, but he'd much rather tell her what he learned in his speller when they both attended PS 33. You're adorable. You're so beautiful. You're a cutie full of charms. You're a darling and you're exciting. You're a feather in my arms. You look good to me. You're so heavenly. You're the one I idolize. We're like Jack and Jill. You're so kissable. Is the love light in your eyes? MNOP.
You could go on all day.
QRST.
Alphabetically speaking, you're okay. You
made my life complete. Means you're awfully sweet. WXYZ. It's fun to wander through the alphabet with you. To tell
us what?
I mean, to tell you what you mean to me.
We love you alphabetically.
Ironized Yeast presents Lights Out. Everybody. Lights Out brings you stories of the supernatural and the supernormal, dramatizing the fantasies and the mysteries of the unknown. We tell you this frankly, so if you wish to avoid the excitement and tension of these imaginative plays, we urge you calmly, but sincerely, to turn off your radio now.
This is Arch Obler, Nature Study.
That's a charming pastime, they tell me, the wonders of nature and all its infinite variety. But the most interesting and varied subject of all, I think, is the mind of man. Its unpredictable convolutions. And that's what our story is about tonight, after a brief word from Frank Martin.
Tired out, run down, on edge, all in? Is that how you feel tonight? Well, if vitamin B1 and iron shortage is what's to blame, listen. Ironized yeast tablets give you both vital substances. Yes, in easy-to-take tablet form. So many, many people who used to suffer from these deficiencies now tell how good they feel, how pleasant little ironized yeast tablets help them regain pep and strength and needed pounds. Often they say it's like a new lease on life. That's right. The name is Ironized Yeast Tablets. And now, lights out. Everybody.
There we are.
There we are where?
Look about you.
Oh, my goodness, it is beautiful, isn't it?
I did not know this was where we were going.
It's like a canyon, isn't it?
It is a canyon. A cleft in the rocks few people in this part of the country know about.
Well, I'm sitting down to rest my poor
No, Miss Guard, we must go on.
Where are we going?
Come now, come. On all our other Sunday nature study trips, I've never had such rebellion.
Because we've never walked so far before.
That's right. Where is this you are taking us today, Mr. Arno? To Canada? My dear friends and neighbors, we're exactly 15 miles from home.
You could think we're out of this world.
Yes, if one knows nature's little highways and byways, even in the midst of the city's turmoil, one can find nature's true isolation.
Well, where do we go from here?
There's a little path down through the canyon. There we will find lichens of many varieties.
Oh, my goodness, what's that?
My dear. I know. They are like little ferns in the rock. Excellent, Mr. Kamarin, excellent. Oh, I remember from last week. You will note these scratches on the face of the rock here. Who did it? Not who. What? The glacier. Glacier? What's glacier?
Don't ask me.
Oh, I know. It's all that ice and stuff from the North Pole that came down here a long time ago.
Excellent, Miss Wilkins, excellent. Oh, yes, that I have seen near Seattle in Washington. That's right. There are still glaciers up in the northern Rocky Mountains. What's the matter, Miss Guard? You seem displeased.
All I want to say is this. Do you mean to say we came all this way by subway and streetcar and bus just to see some old rock scratches?
Well, there isn't any place in the state that has a finer record of glacial action.
How do you like that? I thought I was going to see flowers and then just scratches and rocks.
Well, Miss Guard, Mr. Arno, he's a smart man. He knows
Well, then maybe he knows I want to go home. My feet are tired. This is all there is to see. I'm starting back now. Oh, come on, Miss Wilkins. Let's get out of here. Find some real excitement.
Well, I don't know. After all, Mr. Arno took all the time and trouble. What's that?
Something up there. The rocks. Look out. Miss Wilkins. Miss Wilkins. She passed out, I see. You all right? Yeah, fine. Oh, she's all right. Miss Wilkins, are you hurt? Are you...
all right.
Oh, sure. She just fainted. And no wonder all those rocks falling down. It's a miracle we weren't hurt. You all right, Mr. Kamara? Oh, sure. We all right. Nobody hurt, so don't... Miss Wilkins, what's the matter?
Under that rock.
Legs. Who? Miss Guard. It's Miss Guard. The rock. Get him off.
Get her off.
No. Get her. No, Miss Wilkins. Stay back. We'll get her out. Yeah, we'll do it. Come on. Hurry. That the other one now. Come on. Now, a little more. There. One more rock. You hear that, Miss Wilkins? One more rock.
Oh, she's dead. I know she's dead.
I can't move. Lift more, Mr. Arno. Lift. Poor girl.
Oh, Miss Guard.
No, wait. Look. Miss Wilkins, be quiet. Miss Guard, she's still alive.
Alive?
But how can... Shh. She's trying to talk. Yes, Miss Guard, I'm here. I'm listening. Yes, what is it? I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't understand you, Miss Guard. What are you trying to tell us? Yes, what, Miss Guard, what?
I can't die without telling.
Telling what?
My husband didn't die. Heart failure. I killed him. Poison. I killed the guard. The guard!
She's dead. You feel better now, Miss Wilkins?
I'm all right.
Oh, don't try to get up. Just rest. Rest. A few minutes more or less won't make any difference. Now,
Mr. Arno.
Yes, Mr. Kamaran.
I have been sitting here. I have been trying to figure it out in my head. Why is it?
Well, there must have been a fissure in the rocks. The action of frost and rain loosened them, and perhaps the vibration of our voices.
No, I'm thinking, why should it hurt her, not us?
Well, I guess that's what you'd call fate.
Do you think... Did she really kill her husband, like she said?
Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about her except she was a neighbor.
Yes. She lived in our building for a whole year already.
I really don't know about her.
I know.
You, Miss Wilkins?
Tell us, please.
She told me. She used to sing in a nightclub.
So? Really?
One morning she wasn't feeling good. She came down to my apartment. I guess she felt like talking. She told me she used to work in this nightclub, and then she married this rich fellow, lots older than she was, lots of money, and she married him, and she didn't like him very much, and all of a sudden he died.
Oh.
Did she tell you that there was anything unusual about his death?
No. She just said all of a sudden he died.
Like poison?
What are we sitting here for? Let's get out of here. Quick, let's get out of here.
Yes, Mr. Arno, why do you sit there? Lead us the way out.
Mr. Arno, what's the matter with you? Why do you sit there looking at us?
I didn't want to say anything before.
Say what?
Say what?
I went over there, the only way out of the canyon. The rocks have blocked it off.
Oh.
I'm very much afraid we can't get out.
It's no use talking to me, Mr. Arno.
But it's so dangerous.
Dangerous? What is dangerous? I climb up. The rocks are like stairs. I pull up over the top and I'm out.
Oh, but I insist it's dangerous. That tumble of rocks. Miss Wilkins, am I not right?
Well, we just can't wait in here forever, and I'm sure that Mr. Kamaran knows what he's doing.
That is a very smart girl. Look at that wall. It is nothing.
Oh, but
you don't worry, Mr. Arno. I told you the rocks along here like steps. I climb up and I go and get help, and soon I have you out of here. All you do is to help me up that first rock.
Well, all right, if you insist.
Sure. Put your hands together in a grip.
Like that?
That is right. I put my foot in your hand and you push up and give a boost, right?
Yes.
All right. Hold your hands down.
All right.
I get my foot. Now, lift.
Here we go.
There. I am up. So. Well, I'm up here already. The rest of the way to climb is easy. What did I tell you?
Be careful, Mr. Kamaran.
Here I go.
He is very strong, isn't he?
What'd you say, Miss Wilkins?
He is very strong, isn't he?
Oh, yes. Careful of loose rocks, Mr. Kamaran.
I am all right.
Test every handhold. Those rocks are loose.
He'll get us out of here. I know he will.
Yes, he will.
He's up so high.
Oh, yes.
I just can't watch anymore.
Well, he only has a few more feet to go, and he'll be over the edge. You're doing very well, Mr. Kamaran.
Sure, I told you. Your Kamaran, he always does.
Mr. Kamaran,
what's the matter with him?
I don't know. He suddenly stopped talking, isn't moving. Mr. Kamaran, what is the matter? Mr. Kamaran.
My arm cramp. I can't hold.
Cramp in his arm. Hold on, Mr. Kamaran. I'll try to get up to you. Don't let go. I'll try to let go. Mr. Kamaran. Mr. Kamaran.
He's dead.
No, I don't think so. He lifted up his head.
Oh.
Mr. Kamaran, what?
don't move. No. Listen. Got to tell you. Yes. I'm listening. Yes. All broken. We'll be dead. We'll be dead. Can't die without telling. When I was boy, Syria, went hunting with my brother. He never came back. They thought he ran away. Not truth. I wanted his knife. So I killed him. Buried him. I killed my brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, we leave our lights out story of nature study for just a moment to look in on an office in a New York skyscraper. It's 5 in the afternoon and the secretary is saying,
Hello? Why, yes, Bob. I'd love to go dancing. I'll be through here by 6:30. Be seeing you. Bye.
With all this overtime leaving me limp as a rag, you've got the pep to go dancing. How do you do it?
Why, when I felt myself slipping, I found out I just needed more vitamin B1 and iron. And I got them as easy as pie by taking those wonderful little ironized yeast tablets.
I still don't see how they could make all that difference.
Let me explain. When you don't get enough vitamin B1 from your food, you may lose your appetite, not eat all you need. So lose weight, strength, and pep. And without enough iron, you may be weak and pale and feel all in.
I see. And you say ironized yeast tablets supply both vitamin B1 and iron?
Right. It's ironized yeast and its famous two-way help that's been of such surprising benefit to so many men and women with these deficiencies. So if you need more vitamin B1 and iron, for your own sake, get ironized yeast tablets right away. Then see if before long you aren't saying,
Oh, how wonderful to feel peppy and raring to go again. That tired feeling is gone. I put on pounds I needed. How I wish I'd tried ironized yeast tablets long ago.
And now back to our exciting lights out story of nature study. 2 people have died in Hidden Canyon on a Sunday morning. 2 people have died with confessions of murder on their lips.
Miss Wilkins, where are you? Miss Wilkins, are you hiding? Miss Wilkins, you shouldn't have run away like that. You shouldn't. We'll work something out together. We'll get out of here. Oh, there you are. Why did you hide back here? Nothing's going to hurt you. Nothing.
You're wrong.
What?
I'll never get out. Never.
But why should you say that? This canyon is well known. Sooner or later, any moment, someone will come along and see us down here.
No, never.
Now, that's no way to talk, Miss Wilkins.
They are dead, aren't they? Aren't they?
Don't think of them.
I gotta think of them. They're me.
What are you talking about?
You think I haven't got a brain in my head? You think I don't know what I'm talking about? Well, I do. I always do. I'll let everybody think I'm a fool, but I know more than you or anyone. And I know why they died. I know.
Miss Wilkins, I don't know.
I'm telling you. Listen to me. I'm telling you. I know why they died.
Yes, of course. It was actually...
Will you listen to me?
All right.
Miss Guard died, and she'd committed a murder.
Yes.
And Mr. Kamarin died, and he'd committed a murder.
Well...
That's why I won't get out of here alive. I committed a murder, too. I committed a murder, too.
That's unbelievable. Oh, you're just saying things.
No, not true.
But you? Where? How?
Married. All I wanted to do was get married.
What?
Mary Jane Ellis, we gone to school together, the same room in college, the same room when we came here to go to work, always together. My best friend, everyone said my best friend up till Joe. I met him first, and then she met him. She said she didn't like him, but I knew she did. She did. At the party, I came into the room. His arms had been around her. I knew they had. He couldn't fool me. She couldn't fool me. It was her fault, not his. My best friend. Joe was for me, not for her. He was thinking about her. He kept on thinking about her. Pretty, all right, she was pretty, but he was for me, for me. At night, I'd lie there thinking if she was dead. If she was dead. She had to be dead. She had to be dead.
Miss Wilkins, for 5 years, I've known you for 5 years. What you're saying isn't true. I know it isn't. Your mind, all that's happened, you couldn't really...
Shut up! Just shut up!
All right, Miss Wilkins.
You listen to me. I killed her. I killed her with poison. And I'm going to die the way they did. And there's nothing anyone can do about it.
You're out of your mind.
Now I know exactly what I'm saying and doing. Do you know how long I've waited for this moment, Mr. Arno? 5 years. 5 years. Every night for 5 years. Every time I was alone in the dark, I've been waiting for this moment. I don't have to wait anymore.
Why not?
Because it's here.
Who?
It's here in the canyon. Waiting to kill me.
There's no one here but you and me.
They knew, and now I know.
Well, I tell you, there's no one in this canyon but the two of us. And their bodies.
What's over there?
Huh? Oh, nothing but the shadow of a rock on the canyon wall.
Not a shadow, Mr. Arno.
What are you talking about?
Not a shadow, Mr. Arno.
I see it plainly. It is a shadow.
Not a shadow, Mr. Arno.
Why do you keep saying that?
It's coming closer.
Well, the sun is getting lower in the sky.
If it touches me, I'll die.
Don't say that.
The way they died.
Stop talking nonsense. Get you out of here. Someone will come along. Up there. Is there anyone up there? We're down in the canyon. Get us out of here. Now, you just sit there and relax until someone... Miss Wilkins. Miss Wilkins. Dead? Bottle? What? Poison. You killed yourself. Why? The shadow. Yes. Touching you. Only a shadow. But is it? Someone get me out of here. Get me out of here. There we are. You lie there, Mr. Kamari. Miss Wilkins, Miss Guard, and now you, Mr. Kamari. Now, all of you lie there and listen to me. It's getting quite dark. And while it's still light enough so that I can see you, I want to talk to you. Dead as you are, I've got to find something out. Listen to the wind. It's just come up. The wind. It moans around the rocks, but I'm not moaning. You hear that, Miss Wilkins? I'm not. I'm just talking to you reasonably. It's been so many hours, and yet you hear I'm talking reasonably. Please understand, my friends. I didn't mean for this to happen. I took you to Hidden Canyon to show you the lichens and the glacial action on the rocks. I didn't want you to die. And that's what I've got to talk to you about. Dead as you are. Why did you die? It was all quite accidental. Wasn't it, Miss Guard? Answer me, Miss Guard. The rocks that crushed you, all quite accidental. It wasn't because you had committed the murder, was it? All quite accidental. Wasn't it, Miss Guard? Wasn't it, Miss Guard? How strangely my voice echoes between the rock walls. I will talk to you, Mr. Kamalin. You climbed up the rocks. A cramp in your arm. You couldn't hold on any longer. You fell. That was all accidental, wasn't it? Wasn't it? There's no reason for me to shout like that, is there? Oh, how quiet it is. And dark. For years I've never been in the dark. At night, all the lights on in my house. I even sleep with the light on in the room. Never been in the dark for years. I'm in the dark at last. Alone. The three of you are dead. And so I'm alone. Huh. Who? Oh, a bird. An owl. Yes, of course, an owl. Miss Wilkins, you shouldn't have taken that poison. You should have stayed alive to talk to me. As long as there's someone to talk to, but when there's no one but the dead, that's a frightening thing. And I don't like the dark, and now I'm in the dark, alone. That's a frightening thing, yes. Oh. Your faces. Why do I see your faces? Oh. It's the moonlight. How quickly the moon lighting your faces. Yes. I don't think I'm going to look at you. I'm going to sit here all through the night, my eyes closed. Yes. I will. I will. How long have I had my eyes shut? All night? There's light against my eyes. I know it. All right. I will open my eyes. Moonlight. So bright. Filling the canyon. The walls. So very bright. Shadow on the wall. What? Moving along the wall. Shadow of what? Miss Wilkins. You said a shadow, Miss Wilkins. You're smiling. Mr. Kamalin, you too. Miss Guard. All of you smiling. Is it the moonlight, or are you really smiling? Why are you smiling? Why? All right. I know. You know. All right. My eyes are open. And when the shadow touches me... Who's it?
Must have gone down here.
Lights. People.
Hello down there. Anyone down there?
Anyone? Yes. Yes. Mr. Kamalin, who killed his brother. Miss Guard, who killed her husband. Miss Wilkins, who killed... Yes. Yes, I'm down here. Come and get me. I've waited for you for 15 years. I murdered my wife. You hear me? I murdered my wife!
Well, Mr. Obler, the wages of sin, eh?
I suppose you can call it that. Whether one believes that wage is exacted by conscience or ghost or God, I think the progress of man has proved that you can't violate the basic human moralities without eventual retribution. Certain slant-eyed individuals, together with their goose-stepping compatriots, are rapidly learning the truth of that truism. Which reminds me of next week in Bathysphere.
Oh, you mean Saturday night Bathysphere?
No, the Tuesday night variety. But I'll tell you about that in a moment.
If vitamin B1 and iron shortage is what's keeping you underweight and under par, why go on that way? Ironized yeast supplies both vital substances in easy-to-take tablet form at a cost of but a few pennies a day. Now, a run-down condition may stem from other causes. If in doubt, see your doctor. But if you simply need more vitamin B1 and iron, remember, ironized yeast has been so successful in so many such cases that it's sold on this no-risk, money-back basis. If you don't begin to eat better, look and feel better, the cost of the first bottle will be refunded to you in full by Ironized Yeast, Box IY, Rahway, New Jersey. And now, what's this about a Tuesday night bath, Mr. Obler?
Bathysphere. That's the amazing diving bell developed by scientist Beebe, which has enabled divers to go under the sea to amazing depths. Next week, we go down under the sea in what is one of my favorite stories, and I think it'll be one of yours after you listen to it. Two men start under the ocean in search of a diving record, and the excitements which follow happen, as usual, next week.
Yes, tune in next Tuesday again for Arch Obler's amazing story, Bathysphere. And if you need more vitamin B1 and iron, be sure to try Ironized Yeast, the one and only Ironized Yeast, with the big letters IY on the package and on each tablet.
It is later than you think.
All out for the treasure hunt, folks. All out for the treasure hunt. Just hunt up discarded white shoes in your storeroom or attic. Make them attractive and good-looking again with Energine Shoe White. Save a number 18 shoe ration coupon for another pair of shoes. Use Energine Shoe White because it's made only with the very whitest pigment obtainable. Energine Shoe White spreads over shoes easily and dries evenly to a real white, never a dingy off-white. Yes, to keep white shoes looking better longer, use Energine Shoe White. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
As always, thank you for joining us with Sunday Night with Old Time Radio. Here we are, mid-year, thereabouts, and we have much more awaiting to present to you. We broadcast from 8 to 11 p.m., that's Sunday night, Central Time, and we hope that until then, till you can join us again, that you'll have sweet dreams and sleep tight. This is a production of Lobato Studios, Sao Paulo, Brazil.